The following program contains adult language, possible video game spoilers, unnecessarily long discussions, malding, ranting, tilting, and all the things your parents warn you about the internet. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's Cranefreeze, the possible late-night show, depending on your time zone. Featuring Sue, Luke Word, Haraxmant, featuring the musical talents of Final.
And now, straight from the corner of a room in California, the official Crane!
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Need to adjust this camera right there. Need to get all my good parts. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. No, seriously. No, stop. Stop. No, seriously. No, okay. You're the only ones who are Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, I just want to say, I see you, Rockfist. I see you, Yzora. I know pirates out there lurking. So, yeah, guys, welcome to another episode of Cranefreeze. This is the first one for this week. Welcome. We got a lot of news for you today, guys. By the way, please give it up to the CONSOULS. They're the ones who play the intro music and the outro music. They're amazing. So go check them out on YouTube. It's CONSOULS. 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 It's really quite clever. But yeah, so really enjoy the show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Of course, we have our esteemed guests for today, and that is boys. Would you like to introduce yourselves? Oh, we'll just say hi. Well, obviously, we have Omega Optimus Supreme. We got Luke.
Hi, everybody. How y'all doing tonight? Hope you're having a good night.
Yep, and then we have Haraxmant.
Good to be back. Good to be back.
Yep, that's what that is. So, oh, what happened there? Why are they not showing up on my thing? Why are they not showing up on my thing? Okay, well,
that's interesting.
That is definitely
Brain broke it.
They're usually there. I promise you that they're usually
there. We aren't just voices in his head.
No,
most of the time.
They're more. They're much more than that. They are much more than that. Let's see. I think there it is. Okay, there it is. It should be fine now. Yeah. No, there it is. We good. Yeah. We are good.
Hey!
Oh,
we did it.
I think that only happens. I think that only happens because I had Discord minimized, and I think that's sort of.
That'll do it.
That messes things up. But yeah, so let's look at their handsome mugs since they got suited and booted for the show. So there it is. We got Luke Word, aka Omega Jack? Optimus Supreme.
How you doing?
And then of course we got Haraxmant.
Hi.
We're all hallucinating Luke and Harax. No, yeah. They're all just figments of your imagination. And then of course we have Sue. Lovely Sue here. Yes. Hello, Shadowleaf.
Irreplaceable.
The one, the only, stupendous Sue. Yes. So yeah, we are here tonight. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of news that's been circling around, and I swear to you, tonight is not a arcane night. That would be Friday. So that will be the next one. We will talk about that one in the next one, but not right now. So boys, tell me how you guys are doing. Luke?
I'm doing okay. It's been a busy week so far. We're only halfway through it, but it's been pretty busy. But it's been a good busy. So I'm doing all right. I'm still enjoying my Super Robot Wars over on my stream, and new DLC came out for it early, and it broke Steam, which broke my stream, so I had to restart it. But after that, we got everything working. It was working out all right. So we got to recruit a bunch of new DLC units yesterday. That was a whole bunch of fun.
Oh, that's definitely fun. I love it because it's sort of your neck of the woods kind of.
It feels like it's targeted specifically at me, and even the writing. Like I've said several times during stream, it's like I feel like I wrote this scene. So, like, there's definitely like there's some of those isms that I've talked about that I really don't like, where it's just like character will say something and then like the black hole is going to do a thing, and then the character responds with the black hole. It's like, yes, idiot, I just said the black hole. There's a lot of that that's still in there, but it's so it's got like a couple of those translation things that I don't like, but there's some real nuggets of fun scenes that I do enjoy. That I'm like, where I know where the stream of thought is going, and then the conversation actually goes there. It doesn't feel like there's a dramatic left turn just because it's funky translation.
You know,
so it's good stuff.
Do we have a T-shirt ideas section? Because I got another. I want a Luke's gonna Luke shirt.
Luke's gonna Luke. Luke can Luke. Luke will definitely
Luke's gonna
Luke.
Luke.
How about Luke out?
Luke
Lukeisms.
out. Lukeisms.
we can make it cute too, like Final Fantasy 14, where it's like / Luke out. That would be cute.
That'll work.
Hey Luke, so that means if ever you have a talk show of your own, we know what to name it.
Luke out.
Luke out. Very good.
Not bad.
That is pretty good. That is pretty good. Oh, so you... Oh, okay, I see. I see what you're doing there. I like that
What?
soldier outfit right there. For
What? No, I don't. I don't try to put the stream on theme.
I know.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Harax, how about you, man? How's your week been?
Well, it's been really good. We could talk about one of the games I've been playing soon. But the other game I've been playing, I'm still in Forza. Update came out. Servers are not as broken as they used to be, which is fantastic. And I'm about 7 achievements away from finishing it. So as soon as I get that off my list, I can go back to GU and finish it.
Oh,
That'll be exciting.
I didn't know you even put GU down.
It's that new release. As soon as a new release hits you that you're excited for, whatever you're doing, all stop. No,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm guilty.
Hit
of
me
it.
too.
I'm guilty of that. Yesterday, I was supposed to stream Eternal Fate. It's a game that I'm in. I'm in as a voice actor. It's one of the games that I've voiced. Small production, but still, there's no production too small. Honestly, right? If my friends came up with an alternative game to Pong, then I'd do that too. If I was a voice actor in it.
Pong, but you do all the sound effects yourself.
Dong,
Pong.
ding,
Pong.
ding. However,
Go full Police Academy.
oh yeah, definitely missed that. That sound happened now. Yes, it did. But out of those things too, because Riot dropped a couple of games, and yesterday was a day well, I guess to me, because my circle of games might be a little smaller than others. So in my eyes, it's just a whole lot of things dropping and some servers popping. That's pretty much what was going on.
Like I was like, I will say, because I woke up extraordinarily early that day, and I saw that trailer pop up on my feed, and I'm like, oh no, that game came out today. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I was like I had like a crisis trying to figure out what I was going to do. And then it got worse because the DLC actually came out today as I started streaming. Like Steam updated like the minute after I hit like play on my stream. So everything broke. But I was like, what am I gonna do? Am I just gonna like drop the money down? Am I just gonna get Ruin King now and play that instead? I'm like, like I said, actual crisis. But I've pretty much decided that the next game for my stream will be Ruin King. Like, I think that'll be my next playthrough.
Oh, it has to be. I would be mad. I was mad that you didn't stream it. I was mad that you didn't stream it, so I streamed it.
Yeah, which is fine. I think that's fine.
And
I got you to stream what you hate, video games.
Yes, it is. Hello. This is going on YouTube, so I don't know if I should be saying your name, but yes, Chupatite. Welcome to the stream. From the last time you've seen us, we're a talk show now. So, yeah. Welcome. Yeah, we're talking about a whole lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff is new. If it's not new, it's new to me. I saw you were playing it, Crane, and that made me laugh. Well, it made you laugh because you know that I don't like playing games on Twitch. I don't like it. I don't like it. But technically, I wasn't necessarily playing a game. What I was doing is I was examining the game. Those are two different things. Because I did not play it to enjoy it. I played it to examine it. What was that?
You were trying very hard to tear apart that game specifically.
And I was tearing it apart like with a lot of love. I was loving it. But talking about things, moving things along with the things that dropped that I was trying to analyze and not enjoy. One of those things was this. This trailer also dropped. Spider-Man No Way Home. And it seemed to have answered a lot of things that everybody had already guessed from the first time it dropped. For the first trailer that dropped. A lot of people picked up on stuff. We've been talking about it. Everyone's making videos about it. And then this next trailer that dropped is basically just a confirmation of that thing.
It honestly is. Yeah, it doesn't blow anyone's mind. We had figured out all the members of the Sinister Six and all of that. And everyone had pretty much figured out what we were going to see next. And we were hoping for that this trailer was going to be like, all right, can you just say that Maguire and Andrew are in the movie? Can you just say it so we can stop just like stressing out about it? And they're like, no, we're going to hold that one out. They're not.
So how analytic did you get with this trailer, guys? Either one of you get super analytic with it?
Not hyper like frame by frame. Like I did one solid watch through and I was like, okay, there's technically new stuff here. I liked how Electro's lightning was just emulating his old style.
Wait, hold
mask.
hold the phone here, sir. Because I haven't actually seen it. So I was gonna actually react to it live right now.
Oh. Were you? Okay. All right, yes, that's a treat.
That is what's going to happen right now. I am definitely going to watch it. So you guys are going to watch my my reaction to this because I could have watched it yesterday, but I didn't. I made sure to watch it today in front of all of y'all. So here we go. Let's actually take a look at this. All right. So that is not the right screen. Is most definitely not the right screen. This is the right screen. There we go. So, let's watch it. I'm waiting, Crane, for you to pour the syrup onto my pancakes. All right. So, again, this is my live reaction to this. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get DMCA'd for this because it is a trailer. That would be stupid of them. So, here we go. Crane live reaction in 3, 2, I can't count. Why do they always have an opening card now when they do that?
Ever since I got bit by that spider, I've only had 1 week where my life has felt normal. That was when you found out.
That's a sweet one.
Botched that spell where you wanted everyone to forget the Peter Parker Spider-Man. We started getting some visitors.
I mean, we already know that.
From every
Oh, okay, they actually
universe.
just showing. Okay, Black Spider.
Hello, Peter.
Hello.
You're not Peter Parker.
Oh, I heard you muted,
sorry, what was
phone.
your
How
name again?
dare
Dr.
you?
Otto Octavius.
Wait, no, seriously, what's
I do
your
have
actual
you
name?
muted. Why did you ring?
That's cute.
There are others out there. We need to send them back. So, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You know, all this is kind of your mess. I know a couple of magic words myself, starting with the word please.
Oh, that's obnoxious.
Please, Scooby-Doo this crap.
You're flying out into the darkness to fight ghosts.
What do you mean?
They all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate.
Oh, that's reminiscent.
I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah, me too.
Don't.
Okay, that explains that shot. All right.
has to be another way.
There isn't. They're a danger to our universe.
You're not gonna take this away from me.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Comic
Yeah, yeah.
You're struggling
Yeah.
to have everything you
There's
want,
Inception.
while the world tries to make you choose.
Oh, there's
It's all
Sandman.
my fault. I can't save everyone.
Wait, who the? Oh, we've seen that shot before.
What? No. Spider-Man's love interest falling off the Brooklyn Bridge? Never.
What's happening?
Never, never.
They're starting to come through, and I can't stop them.
So,
Wait a minute.
December 17th, exclusively in movie theaters. Tickets on sale November 20th.
Okay, all right. Let's back this up a little bit.
See, Zora, that's my first thought too. I'm like, did Sandman survive Spider-Man 3, or am I just misremembering?
No, okay, so I definitely see what they're trying to go for here. All of the people, because remember the one of the big problems I have. Yes, I have watched Loki. So McKindis, I have in fact watched Loki. I watched it every time it came out. Are you going to say that this is connected, or are you saying that I'm sporting the Loki look right now?
Oh, I see it. I do see it, actually.
Yeah. You know what? It's because of the hair, right? It's the hair.
Yeah.
It's the hair and the slick back. But yes, okay. I have a question for this shot. Because this is my first... Because everything else seems like, like, I feel like the internet has tackled any of these things before. There was one shot that was really, really curious to me. Really curious to me. I'm actually going to bring the game screen back on so that you guys so I can show you what I'm talking about. But, okay. Okay. Where's that fucking shot? It's when they all fight. They all like attack each other. Okay, so because I'm trying to look at is his name the Lizard Man or just the Lizard? His name is just
the Lizard.
Just the Lizard. Okay.
Yeah, Doc Connors, just the Lizard.
Okay.
Dr. Connors.
Okay. So this shot.
This is all my fault. I can't save everyone.
Okay. I'm gonna play this slow. Right? Very slow, and I'm gonna mute it because it's gonna sound obnoxious if I didn't. All right.
Oh, every time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Look how slow they're moving. Okay. Who the fuck is he fighting?
Oh, yeah. You see, you don't know. He's been watching wrestling.
Who is?
And that's the signature move in wrestling, the flying nothing.
oh no! Here, Crane. I believe I can help with that. Do you have a me screen? One that specifically looks at my camera?
Yes, I do have a. Oh, yeah, like just yours, right? Just yours. Yeah.
Let me show you something here.
Hmm.
This is of the same trailer uploaded by Sony Pictures Brazil, official on Twitter, right? Watch Lizard in this shot. He gets kicked.
Oh, what?
Almost
He's fighting someone else that they've removed from the trailer.
Almost as if there's someone removed from the trailer. Just again for
I wonder if they're fighting 3 different separate Spider-Men in that shot.
It kind of feels that way, doesn't it? I was looking. I swear. I was just watching it because I thought to myself, I really want to see if that is the Lizard. I wanted to see if they changed it because for everybody else, they all look sort of different, right? So obviously, Sandman looks better with updated graphics. And then you see, Electro. That's still Jamie Foxx. Yes, I heard his voice.
That's still that's still Jamie Foxx.
And they made his lightning all like yellow, and then they gave him the
and he's not blue
whack.
anymore. He's Jamie Foxx.
He's just
Jamie Foxx. The lightning. I really did enjoy the lightning around his face, making his old school mask. I did appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, that was so I saw that, and I was looking at, and then obviously Dr. Octopus has he has new duds, but so I was particularly looking at Lizard because I wanted to see what was different about him. And then I saw him, and I'm just like, who is he attacking? It's almost like everyone attacks me, and you're just like, where's he going? Like, that's kind of how it feels. So I'm like,
yeah.
they did cut out the other Spider-Men. But I know that the story-wise, I know that one of the big problems when it came to like the Sinister Six was the fact that people thought that, okay, well, they're gonna build up a new Sinister Six, right? With people like the Vulture, Scorpion, I don't know, Mysterio, or I don't know, whatever, right? But then, because a lot of the people who would be in Sinister Six are already dead, either dead or not in that universe. And lo and behold, they're finding a way to do that. All of these people are supposed to be dead, and he literally, Doctor Strange literally said it out loud. He's like, all of these people died fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. And it's like, oh, shit, okay. So that's how they're going to give us the Sinister Six. Is they're all of them, the thing that ties them all together is that they die. Which means it is possible that we still get Mysterio. Because I counted Sandman. I don't know if Dr. Octopus is in this. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's part of the Sinister Six. I didn't.
Yeah,
see him.
That's very, because if he's gonna switch sides, or even just like we're seeing a lot of early conflicts with him, but that may just be he's the first one that shows up, realizes what's going on, and he may just swap sides. Or like we know Goblin's also on the bridge fight. Goblin may kill off Doc Ock in that fight. Because I don't think we've seen anything later. Admittedly, we don't see Goblin later either. So
yeah, like it seems like they show up, but they don't show up in a sort of against Peter Parker capacity. It doesn't seem.
Well,
to be...
we know Doc Ock definitely fights him because he's like clamps his head in the octopus legs, and
but not in that
yeah.
scene. Not in that scene particularly. That's the whole like, Civil War. Like Captain America Civil War scene, and you don't see them. So and all I saw was, so I think they're gonna do a little switcheroo, just kind of like what they did with the graphics, where you have I saw Lizard, I saw Electro, I saw Sandman. Those are it. From that last shot that we showed, right?
From that last shot, that's all we see. Yeah,
because I didn't see Dr. Octopus in there.
We didn't see Doc Ock. We didn't see Green Goblin. We obviously didn't see Mysterio or anyone like that.
But if we do add them, that makes 5. We still need the 6th. And the only person who died in Tom Holland's Spider-Man is Mysterio.
Maybe.
Yeah. Because he's the only one.
The viewer base is still out on that. Yeah.
Who would be a Sinister Six?
Oh yeah, Mysterio would definitely be like that. That's kind of one of the few holdouts. Like we haven't been seeing the other Spider-Man. We haven't been. And I see that Yozora brought up Venom, which the way that the Sony's Venom has been written so far, he doesn't seem like he'd be against Spider-Man. We do know at the end of the Carnage movie that he's been transported to what is presumably the main Marvel Cinematic Universe. So he might show up. They might still be like holding off on this particular movie. Seems unlikely. It seems like there's still a slot. Like obviously they could slide Venom into that slot, but they have a much more a very off the bat anti-hero Venom. Like he's just already in that slot. So him being antagonistic suddenly against Spider-Man right now doesn't make a lot of sense.
There's
a lot of stuff happening in this movie. We gotten closer shots of that it's not the Venom symbiote. It seems to be a black suit magically empowered by Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but okay. The thing about all of this is that, one, it could be a red herring because they've thrown red herrings at us before. So that could absolutely be the case. And and I actually
or because Doctor Strange was talking about Scooby-Doo, is it in fact red herring from a pup named Scooby-Doo? Is he the last member of the Sinister Six?
Yes, it all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've connected the dots. It's red herring. Red herring is the last member of Sinister Six.
Thank you for the host, Protoman. Protoman is pleading the fifth in terms of this topic, but I will not. My thoughts on this is that one thing I do not like about the Marvel Cinematic Universe when it comes to their trailers is because it's not so much that I don't like when trailers are misleading, because that's kind of what you should do. The terrible thing about today's world of trailers and teasers is that you have to give people enough of your damn plot to get them hooked.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you don't want to give away everything. And that's difficult because in the past, a long time ago, trailers, they, because you didn't have the internet, trailers didn't have to actually do that, right? They just had to sort of show you bits and pieces of what the story could be like, and then you go into the film, you go into the movie house for so that idea that whatever was planted in the trailers will just be unpacked. Here, that is not the case, right? That is absolutely not the case nowadays. Nowadays, trailers have to literally hook, line, and sinker you, and then make it so that, there is still value in going and watching the movie for itself. And one thing that I hate about the MCU is that they deliberately cut shit out and they change shit. So, for example, in Avengers Endgame, they have the same shot of them going to the time machine. Obviously, we don't know it's a time machine, but they go there, but they're all in their normal outfits in the trailer.
Yeah.
But in the movie, they're not in their normal outfits. It's the same exact shot. So they're just doing movie magic on it, and I do not appreciate that.
I will explain this one to you because I actually do know the story behind that particular cut. Because the time travel suits are all CG. They weren't actually completed in time to film that scene or for the trailer. So those suits are all post-production editing work. And I'm not saying that's the entire reason that they were exempt from the trailer, but that's a pretty damn good one, is that those are not actual physical suits. They are just all CG.
Yeah, well,
they also made Thor not fat in that trailer, specifically that.
And another one was not in proving your point, Crane, is that during the war at Wakanda, Banner was not in the Hulkbuster armor. He was just Hulk. And then that was replaced with Banner in the Hulkbuster armor.
Yeah, but
those trailer shots.
But I don't like that. I don't like.
No, I agree.
I don't like it when they doctor up their trailers so that it hooks us in, and then everyone's making these guesses and what all of that stuff. And it's not like it's. I'm not against misdirection, and I'm not against it being misleading, because it's supposed to be misleading. Like, it's the only thing that you can do to balance out the actual content. Because if you give us what it is, then there's really not much point to watching the movie. But if you fabricate it, then I do have a problem with that. Look, I'm just gonna bring this up really quick, Harax, before you move on. But if you look at Arcane, they mislead you with every fucking shot, but none of those shots are edited. The whole film is CG. But none of those shots are edited. They have this. What they do is they fake you out with using montage. So they'll show a shot of Vi, and Vi is in a red jacket, and then the next shot they're gonna show a scene of a girl walking into the last drop into the bar with wearing red. And the thing is, you're gonna go, oh my god, she's gonna walk up to the last drop. That's Vi. It's not Vi. It's Savika. It's somebody else. But they just swap it. They show that shot where it's like this person in a hood looking down at Zahn, and they showed somebody else prior to that. They showed the firelights, right? And you're like, oh my god, that could be the new champion. Wrong. It's just Vi. That to me is fine. And they're using clips and voice and voice lines from the actual game. Oh, not the game. Sorry, from the actual show. From the actual show. They don't edit anything. There's nothing omitted. There's nothing. No, they're just misleading you with the clips, right? With the order of things. Like remember they have they have that shot. I think it was brilliant in the trailer for Act 1 where they have this part where Vi is wearing red. They show the scene of Vi in the future, not the young one, the future Vi who's wearing red, and she hugs Powder. And then they show that shot where Powder is hugging somebody with a red jacket, and then her eyes go up and they turn pink, and you're like, oh fuck. But then you see in the show, that's not actually true. The person she was hugging was Silco. You see what I mean? So it's just it's cutting room floor.
Yeah.
You know, it's not we're going to fabricate these scenes. These scenes never fucking happened. Like that, I think is because once films start doing that, nothing you can never trust them with anything anymore. Like anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I know Harax had a point about this, but
well, I just wanted to say I know a lot of people who absolutely will not watch a trailer because they fear for spoilers. And it's the most annoying thing in the world. Like you're going to see the movie anyway. Does a spoiler really matter at this point? I don't have the mental wall that's like, oh, I can't do that. That's spoilers. I don't care. Tell me. I'm still going to watch it. But like if trailers start to edit their content to where not everything in the trailer is true, then it might actually ease off the people who think the trailer is full of spoilers. It might make it easier for more people to just watch a trailer and just get hype for what might or might not occur in this trailer.
Yeah, but that's my point is that movies are in a particularly difficult situation with that. And how do you balance that, right? Because you need to create some hype. You need to get people like really watching it. Like trailers now have to ask the question of what is going on. Trailers didn't have to do that before. So if you watch a lot of the old trailers, like in early 2000s or, you know, or even before that, they don't have to do that. They just sort of have to give you sort of the mood, kind of a context on sort of what may be happening, but nothing like that. This is actually like, it's almost like trailers nowadays are so complex that movie companies don't make trailers. Trailer companies make trailers.
Trailer companies make trailers. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not even something they do in-house. They have to hire a whole separate company to do that for them.
I know that they all use the same goddamn Sony sound effects pack because I have it too, guys. I have that sound effects pack. I know which whoosh you're using.
Okay.
I hear it.
Okay. Look, the trailer was flashy. The trailer's half baked. We can move on. Marvel, you don't even need trailers. Everyone's gonna go see this movie without a trailer.
Like Marvel's in a position now where they are literally making movies about characters that we've never even heard of before. Like they on Disney Plus, they have a show coming out for Echo, which is a spin-off of Hawkeye, which isn't even out yet. Like, would anyone have been cared to watch Eternals if they weren't already invested in all the other Marvel stuff? No, which is both a positive and a negative, where it's just like, all right, so we know Eternals is primarily going to be used for like world building into the future for other movies, most likely. Still haven't watched it yet. I can't confirm or deny if that is correct.
I did watch it. I can confirm that Eternals is in fact a world building.
I figured, because why else would you kind of go into that arc with? Yeah, they have the Black Knight in there, but the Black Knight isn't exactly an A-tier super Marvel superhero.
No,
like.
You know
like
who is though?
He's like D-lister. Like
who Crane? Who? Please tell us.
Yes.
So I gave it people enough time. The first Cranefreeze, I was like, hey, I want to talk about Eternals. Oh, none of you guys watched it? Ooh. Guess we're not talking about it. I think it's been some good time now.
No, I agree.
So
I've had access. Well, No, that was about Shang-Chi, which I still haven't gotten around to yet.
I haven't seen it, but I already watched the synopsis on what the movie's about. So please continue.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like,
and
all open
Luke
for
already
Eternals
sort
now.
of opened the floodgates because he mentioned Black
I
Knight.
did. Like me talking about it, it's like, well, I presume it's more of a world building movie for the Marvel universe rather than no, absolutely.
And you said Black Knight. Okay, so that's the thing. So the thing about it is that Black Knight is in the post-credit scene, not the mid-credit scene, the post-credit scene. And you see he has the Black Blade, and the Black Blade is actually in the canon of Venom. It's a symbiote.
Yes.
It's related to the symbiote.
It's related to the god of the symbiotes who actually beheaded the Celestial. That is and that the head of that Celestial is the prison from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, nowhere.
So
nowhere. Yeah, it's where the Collector lives.
Nowhere.
Yeah, it's where the Collector lives.
Yeah.
So we've seen that already, and they're tying that in, and obviously Venom is now part of the MCU. So there's that tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, he gets stopped by he was about to hold the ebony blade, which the movie explicitly says. Anyways, not in that scene, but in the movie, they're just like, they ask Angelina Jolie, she's just like, oh, what sword is that? The ebony blade? And she's like, no, the Excalibur. Which is funny because the ebony blade and the Excalibur in Marvel lore is actually part of the same story. It's Arthur and the Knights of the Round table. I need to put table because if I just say Knights of the Round,
Knights of the Round is very different.
It's very Final Fantasy. And this is the thing that's tying in both Venom, like the symbiotes, and Guardians of the Galaxy and Celestials and Galactus even maybe. But anyways, going forward to it, he gets stopped by a voice. And a lot of people were just like, is that Shaft? I mean, sorry, Nick Fury? Is that Nick Fury?
Yes.
A lot of people thought that. However, I don't know if anybody else has said this. I haven't really looked up on it because, I don't really look up Marvel shit. It's not Final Fantasy. But I think that's Blade.
And a lot of people on the internet actually agree with you because I did run across that.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You think it's Mahershala Ali?
Yep. Ooh, and they did cast him for Blade.
Yeah, no, we've known who Blade is going to be. Yeah. And a lot of people are assuming that's going to lead into a what's that new Marvel game that's coming out? The Midnight Suns, is that what it is?
Yeah, the Midnight Suns.
Yeah, that it's essentially like the game is kind of like a promo for where that's going to be going, where we're going to get like the Black Knight, we're going to get Blade, we're going to get Ghost Rider again. So that kind of stuff, that kind of mystical side of the Marvel universe, which they've been leaning into with like WandaVision and more Doctor Strange. Like we're getting Multiverse of Madness. We have Doctor Strange and Spider-Man. So they're leaning more into, we've had like a bunch of the spacefaring adventure. They're leaning more into the magic side of things now. So going into like a Midnight Suns type of thing. And especially we know there's going to be a Blade series.
Well, I
know that there's going to be Ghost Rider in something.
Well, I think they need to keep it terrestrial. Like the problem that you're having with this sort of new phase of Marvel is that they're going farther and farther away from Earth, and that is that's not great for the show. Because
wait, Crane, are you not aware they're splitting the universe in half? One half of Marvel is staying on Earth, while the other half of Marvel is going to space. There's going to be two big bads in the next big phase. Earth fights somebody and space fights somebody.
Well, I'm hoping that's kind of the case because of the fact that non-terrestrial superhero movies tend not to do well. And I don't mean it because people don't like space. I'm saying that because majority of the heroes that we really, really give a fuck about are on Earth. That's sort of just what it is. Like, really. And why would we not give a fuck? Like, we're all.
I mean, which is why the big fight with Thanos, like both fights with him, they take place on Earth, so that we are more invested.
Yes,
yeah.
and it doesn't. It needs to feel that way, because a lot of these new shows that they're doing, including What If that McKindis was talking about earlier, and Loki, is that they all happen sort of extraterrestrially. They're all happening everywhere else in the universe, and that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. Remember, one of the things that Guardians of the Galaxy, a lot of people were like, "Why Guardians of the Galaxy?" Which, anyways, turned out to be like one of their greatest choices. Thank you again for hosting, Pirate. But the one reason why they needed a Guardians of the Galaxy is because they needed a movie that will tie the universe into space.
And that's absolutely what they do in all the crossover movies too, is that they are that sort of glue that brings the Earth heroes to sort of the more spacefaring antagonists. Like even Thor doesn't really get us there.
No.
Like Thor has Asgardian problems, but Asgardian problems are always Asgardian problems, and it kind of stops there unless they're directly brought to Earth. So it's really, the Guardians let us makes space more approachable, especially with Peter Quill. Or Quill.
Peter Quill. Yeah, Peter Quill is the perfect. Was one of the perfect characters for this.
Quirrell is like the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher in the first Harry Potter movie, which my dad was watching earlier today.
Okay.
So, but like, even he's from Earth, and he's that connection that brings the rest of the Guardians to Earth. And the fact that Rocket's a raccoon. Everyone knows what a raccoon is. So and Groot's a tree. We know what trees are. So we don't have to worry about the green people.
That is the thing that is important about it, because like people are like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, like blah 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 blah. Peter Quill is important because he is in space, but he is human. He is of Earth. That is a very important thing. I mean, look at characters like Silver Surfer. Like, there are characters in space, and they're all showing them up, like Star Fox and and all of these other characters. But like, for the most part, people really don't care about them. But then you have a character but then you have a character like Silver Surfer, who is as cosmic as can be. But because a lot of his comics have more to do with things that happen on Earth, it's like, like, good on him, right? Like, that's kind of what that is. Anyways, like, Eternals is supposed to be that bridge between Earth and space, and it's not a space coming to Earth. It's more of like a Earth coming to space, sort of a situation.
Yeah.
And that's something that I can appreciate. But then at the end of the day, that's the reason why they're big money. If they are ever going into the obscure levels of Marvel dweebery, then then the characters that I think are going to hit are not the space characters, they're still going to be the Earth characters. So as much as Black Knight is not a very known franchise in the franchise, I still think he will be received better than
because what was it for Hawkeye and even for She-Hulk, people are super pumped for old characters from the Netflix series to return. Like, people are super hyped about Kingpin coming back, for example. Super Earth-based. Like, what's he gonna do in space? Punch Thanos? It's not gonna. What was that? Punisher. Yeah. No, people want to see those. Like, even like I'm pumped for, like, I want Ghost Rider to come back.
Yes.
Like, I really want to see Ghost Rider come. And like, we had like one spacefaring Ghost Rider where he was actually Punisher and he's from the future, but it's all weird. But that's a comics thing. But like I want like, you're completely right. The people, the characters that people are most invested in are the Earthbound heroes.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's the ones connected to Earth that lets them like cross-pollinate with like Gamora, with Drax, with Rocket, with probably Wonder Man, who we're going to be seeing pretty soon. So stuff like that.
I think we're all going to be really happy when Multiverse of Madness comes out and Keanu Reeves plays Ghost Rider. We're all going to be happy.
Why'd you say that? I want it so bad. I want it so bad.
Norman Reedus as Ghost Rider, please. Oh, there you go, Pirate. That's a good take. Norman Reedus as Ghost Rider, that might be pretty
that wouldn't be bad either. Yeah, actually, a character. This isn't an Earthbound hero, but hopefully we'll see them in Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm really hoping for Beta Ray Bill. I want to see Beta Ray Bill show up. Like, because he's one of those characters, like, I know very little about Beta Ray Bill. He's just kind of that goofy character design that I know Marvel can pull off at this point. I just want to see him fight Thor a little bit, and then they team up, and then they're bros. And like, I just wanted to see them pull off Beta Ray Bill.
We did get confirmation, I believe, on who Christian Bale is playing in
Gore.
Love and Thunder.
Is it Gore the
God Butcher, who wields the ebony blade?
Who wields the
so,
yeah. Well, not wait, no. Sorry, we need to get the level of nerd right. Okay, it's not he doesn't have the ebony blade. He has the black blade. So those are different. Or the black sword.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Black sword.
But they are of the same kind, so to speak. They are of
I'm
the
just
same
happy they finally released like Black Knight into the MCU. I'm excited to see where that goes. That release.
I'm actually
there's always that. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm actually excited. Because of the way they've done Ant-Man and the way they've done what is it? Guardians of the Galaxy. I actually am very excited about the Marvel characters that nobody gives a fuck about. It's because nobody gives a fuck about they're sort of free. They're unfettered. It's like
they really are. Yeah.
Write them how you will. It's like, yes, that's kind of what we want. Because
because we know that they're going to be.
Go ahead.
I keep interrupting you. Apologies. Finish
no,
it.
It's okay. I'm just gonna stay here.
We're all excited.
You take care of it now.
Okay, but it's just that a lot of like the like C-list and D-list villain, or not villains necessarily, but just characters, is that we're getting farther and farther. We're spreading farther and farther out into like who can like headline a movie and things like that, and people are just really excited to see those minor characters now, because that's always going to be someone's favorite characters. Like, oh yeah, dude, my favorite character is Black Knight or Moon Knight, or like Echo, or what was it, Cloak and Dagger, or really like sort of like kind of like lower tier characters. More Howard the Duck, that's an excellent one. Yeah, where it's just like, and now because they've spread themselves so far out, they know that they can either put him in Disney Plus series, they can put him as a stinger of a movie to see how people react, so they can like maybe headline a movie or co-headline a movie. And I like that direction that they're going in, that it's kind of like it's forcing them to go weirder, and I'm all for it. Like having Black Knight or Wonder Man, or maybe we'll even actually get like Lady Death at some point, because who knows what's going to happen.
All I'm going to say after watching the Eternals was that Thanos was right. Thanos was absolutely right. He literally saved the planet. The movie was actually explicit about that. The movie said this. All right, so we're sort of okay with spoilers, right?
No, yeah, go for it.
The movie said this. All right, so basically the story of, which is super duper actually deep, like Marvel lore, which is the Celestials, which are basically the gods that create the universe, will the way that they procreate is that they essentially put their sperm or their egg in a fucking planet, and then when that planet has enough people in it, like intelligent life, it busts out of there, and destroys the planet in the process.
This guy are sick.
However, in the movie, Salma Hayek actually says, they're like, oh, when is the emergence? That's what it's called, when they are born. That's what I'm gonna call like when if ever, like one day when my wife is about to give birth, I'm just like, is the emergence happening? But she actually goes, oh yeah, the emergence was actually supposed to happen 5 years ago, but then Thanos snapped half of the population of the universe, and it didn't happen, so it postponed it. And it's like, It's almost like he did in fact save the universe. He saved all of these people by removing half of the population. So, and this is not a theory. She literally said it. Oh yeah, it was supposed to happen 5 years ago, but because of Thanos. Anyways, that is the last word I'm gonna say. That's the last word I'm gonna say about. Thank you. See, I will end on the applause, but we got more stuff to talk about. And next on that list is this. Really, really short. Shin Megami Tensei 5 came out.
Shall I give you despair?
Shin Megami Tensei 5. Are any of you guys Shin Megami people?
I wouldn't say I'm a Shin. Like, I know some very vague things about it. Like, I've played through like the Persona titles. And I know that they're separate from Shin Megami Tensei. I know like maybe an isolated fact here or two, a couple of like gameplay mechanics that are similar in both games, but I've never actually played a Shin Megami Tensei title, a pure SMT title.
I only have a couple Persona titles in my upcoming list to play, but other than that, nothing.
Yuzoro was like, the applause was for Thanos, not me. Well, it's okay. I'm riding that wave. When it comes to Shin Megami, this is the reason why I have this picture, is that, in a way, Shin Megami Tensei, well, not in a way, is the precursor to the Persona series.
The progenitor.
The progenitor of the Persona series. And the thing that's important to note about that is that they are very much alike in almost every aspect. You know, it's usually a high school student. You have sort of going back and forth from, you know, like going into like the like an alternate world and all of that. So it's pretty much just like Persona. One of the main differences, I think, me, Crane, the official one, not some other Crane, this Crane. One of the things I think of makes the big difference between Shin Megami Tensei and something along the lines of Persona is mood and atmosphere. So Persona is actually supposed to be very, very provincial in the sense that it's more like a high school story as opposed to like an otherworldly story. And Shin Megami Tensei is actually it goes the opposite direction of that, where the mundane life, school life, or regular human life of the story is actually not the important thing. And they also get very, 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 very grim. They get very, very, so it's a very dark version of Persona. And the reason why I want to bring this up is the point of contention that a lot of people have, because people have been sort of following Shin Megami Tensei only because it is of sort of Persona fame. But because of that, people are making the comparison between Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. And if you like Persona, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to like Shin Megami Tensei, because it might be the same kind of game, but it's very much not. Harax, I know that you tried to do a little bit of research on this, did you? Or did you not find anything?
I couldn't find absolutely anything on this, aside from I found out it dropped apparently 5 years ago, but now it's on Switch.
Yeah. So one of the concerns about the Switch is that Persona 5 is it's a game that people really want on Switch. They really want a Persona game for the Switch. And a lot of people thought that this was going to happen. Part and parcel because the Joker
showed up in Smash.
Yeah. Joker showed up in Smash. So people really thought that was going to be the case, but it didn't, and all they got was Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is sort of an older game, but then this is sort of like a remaster in many ways. So there's
that. Well,
it's
not remaster. It was because this is a new release. It was just announced 5 years ago. Like it has been in like development, maybe not development hell, but it has been in development for a long time. We're talking like 15 remake, Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, probably Kingdom Hearts 3 sort of time frame where it was announced a long time ago.
Yeah, so it's well, what I mean old, I mean, because like Final Fantasy 15 when it released to me is old. Like when it released, I considered Final Fantasy 15 old. And Shin Megami Tensei is sort of to me in the same ballpark as that. So, yeah, I mean,
well, I just mean 5. 5 is a recent release. Like it's not a remake or a redux or anything like that. Like 5 is a brand new release.
So I might have misspoken. Clipped. But anyways, on to the next news.
Got him, chat. Nailed him.
All right. So this is something that's near and dear to Harax's heart. And Harax, tell us what you know about this whole thing that's going on with Streamlabs.
Oh, okay. So this is actually a pretty big deal for us streamers. Maybe not all streamers, but it's something people should know. Tons of users are leaving the formerly known Streamlabs OBS in favor of the standalone OBS Studio after the former was caught and outed for stealing a website design from a competitor, Lightstream. Following this, OBS themselves also called out Streamlabs for using the acronym OBS against their wishes. Following both those allegations, Streamlabs officially released an announcement that they are dropping OBS from their name, seemingly opting to be known as Streamlabs from this point forward. For anyone who doesn't understand what the hell any of that means, on the right here, or your left,
Yes, they're left.
my right, you see two websites. One is Lightstream, and the other is Streamlabs Studio, a new part of Streamlabs that lets you stream from your console. So you go from your console onto the internet, and then this website puts your overlays on for you, and then puts it to Twitch. So it's a way to have all your overlays on console without needing capture cards and all the nonsense, right? But if you look at the picture, they're the exact same website, even down to the comments and the reviews in the bottom of the page are the exact same comments.
Wait, how do you get the exact same comments? Like,
because they just stole their website design word for word.
oh, okay. So the comments aren't like those ones that are submitted. They're sort of like the critically acclaimed, right? Like the acclamations where it's like,
this is where things get even deeper, right? The guy who officially got these comments commented on the post and said, I know the people who submitted these reviews because I interviewed them. You even stole my interview reviews and put them on your website. So yeah, Streamlabs is in trouble. Even I have decided to no longer use the Streamlabs platform for my streaming, and officially following today, I'm going to be using OBS to perform my streams.
Well, ain't that some shit? Well, what are we getting to now that we were fucking doing this? Like I don't really understand. So somebody's got to explain this to me, because it's either you or Shadowleaf or somebody. But somebody's got to explain this to me, because I don't really understand the whole point of doing this, of copying sort of the website. Like I don't understand really, like, what do they gain from doing it? Like what is it you gain? It all to me, all of it just seems like a downside.
Well, but what I think happened, this is only my opinion on what I think happened, but I think Streamlabs had to set up a new website for studios, used Lightstream as a basis, and were supposed to change it, but someone down the line forgot to change it and posted it as the final form. And then they got in trouble for it. Tried to be, oh, sorry, we're supposed to change everything. They even made some official announcements. Oh, it was an accident or some nonsense.
I mean, that could still be fair, but I still don't really understand, like, because, okay, yes, they were caught doing this thing, right? My question is, what was the intent? What was the intent? Like, you know, like, is the intent malicious, or is it just like, oh, they were just trying to copy it, and then they just forgot to edit it? Like, you know, that's like me stealing a template, but then the template says, like, Ipsum Lauren, blah, 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 you know, like what they normally put when it's just a template. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, I forgot to write in all of this other stuff. But I don't understand, like, what is the intention here that is supposed to be, what is the intention here? Is it supposed to be malicious? Is it supposed to be, are they, because Shadowleaf is making this point where they're doing it to maybe conflate themselves with the other platform, or, you know, like, that could be the case. If that is the case, that's quite despicable. But, you know, like, I don't necessarily know what that is. And I know that a lot of it does sound like an excuse, but what is it really? Like, you know, like, what amongst those things, what could it be?
I think there's even stuff on Twitter about how Streamlabs officially asked OBS if they could use OBS in their name. OBS said no, or asked them not to, and Streamlabs still went ahead and did it anyway. To me, it just seems like Streamlabs is just doing stuff because they think they can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
and
because I can, I will.
Yeah, and in typical corporate fashion, they only start backpedaling because they get called out on Twitter. Because sadly, that's how most things happen. That's how most things get fixed like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
yeah. Go ahead.
No, well, it's. I'm always going to sort of play like the bad guy in this. This is the reason why I'm wearing a suit, with a tie. With a tie.
It's true. I'm not wearing a tie.
Us. Yes. Is that I don't necessarily like. I'm not of the ilk that I'm always like wagging my fingers at corporations because for a fact, like one day I want to have a corporation. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm evil because I like to be a corporation is not equivalent to evil. So it's a lot of so I do want to have like a lot of I want that to be something that I can learn from, and yeah, like what is this practice supposed to be? Like, again, you're saying that they just do it because they think they can get away with it. What exactly is it that they're getting away with? Like, that's still my question. What exactly are they getting away with?
Well, I actually have a good answer to this because I was confused by this. By using the OBS name, I thought they were all part of the same company. I thought it was all under the same umbrella, and they are not. And that's what they're trying to use the name for, is that they use it to sort of pre-establish themselves. It's, oh yeah, we're part of that. Not really, unless you read the fine print, they're not. But like, not in actual any physical terms. But it's like, oh yeah, we can get if people think we're part of the same thing, then people won't even think about it, and we already wiggle our way in. So it's like it's not like illegal by any means, but you can definitely see what their goal was by just taking that name for themselves.
I mean, it sounds illegal to me. So if you have a trademark name, or if you to be using it, because remember, well, at least here in America.
Time to hydrate.
Dermek Wrath is here. What's up, my man? How are you doing, bro?
I believe OBS is open source.
Okay,
so
it's open source. It's open source. Okay,
mm-hmm.
So I think that even makes it in many ways like a little sort of in the gray area there. Hey, Dermek, I missed you, buddy. I missed you so much.
Yeah, well, which is what I was saying. Like because I was in the boat of I thought they were all part of the two products from the same company. And I was incorrect before all this. I thought they were part of the same thing, and they are not. So.
Well, yeah, no, that's kind of like what that's sort of like what I'm thinking. I maybe I do have to look on into this a little bit because I really don't know. Because to me, if they said, oh, this is kind of a fuck up, it's like, yeah, it looks like a fuck up. Like, it looks like a fuck up. Maybe it's one of those things. Oh, let me copy your homework and change it a bit, but then they sort of forget to do that. That could be definitely the case. I think the biggest crime here is the falsifying the association. With the product. I think that one is, because I know that you said like, oh, like legally this is something that they might do. I think for a fact it might be the opposite. I think legally that is one of the not gray areas. That's more of the black and whites, where if you do something in another entity's name, like that is considered illegal. Shadowleaf here says, think it's identity fraud adjacent is more the issue. Think like a scammer advertising to you a link that looks like you're going to buy a legit item. The store looks real and etc. And you buy the thing and it's thinking it's actually legit, but it's not what you were expecting. Yeah, that's kind of it.
To make things worse, right? Because already, like, we're on this thing where Streamlabs is doing a bunch of questionable things. Streamlabs did two other things. One is that they released a phone app that allows you to control your stream called the Streamlabs Stream Deck. Looking at Elgato Stream Decks. And And the second thing they did is, after making the name Streamlabs OBS, after asking and being denied to be able to use the name, they tried to trademark the name that they don't own. OBS.
Okay. One. All right. So again, this is me with the tie. If you, the first one is obviously a sin. That thing is obviously a sin, right? Like, you're not supposed to be doing that, right? The trademarking thing, I don't think makes it worse. I think that's just their way of trying to resolve it legally. Because let's say they call it Streamlabs. What is it called? Like Stream Deck or OBS. Or whatever,
the Stream Deck. The
right?
Stream Deck. Yeah.
Okay. Let's say they have done things in that name. Let's say they have done things in that name. Hello, Strife. I'm watching you. Let's say that they have done stuff using the name Streamlabs, Stream Deck. And then they came out and they said, hey, you can't do that. And then they looked and they go, wait, okay, it's not trademarked yet. We should trademark it so that they can't sue us for those things. It's definitely not better, but I don't think I definitely don't think it's one of those situations where it's like, oh my god, and to make matters worse, like they're as if they're like punching down or some shit. Like, no, I feel like that when companies do stuff like that, or like, oh, this company filed for, they did this and then they filed for bankruptcy. It's like, no, that's the next step that you do to make sure that you don't like, so you can recoup losses, or you can make sure that you don't have like a ginormous like case against you. So I think that's fine. Like, I think that's just normal. That's what companies do. You know, it doesn't forgive, it doesn't excuse what they did, but you know, that all that other stuff is just normal. To me, I look at it like when big companies do something stupid and then they file for bankruptcy. It's like, oh my god, then they're going to run away with the money. It's like, no, they're just trying to make sure that they don't have any other problems. Because that's the next step that if they are a responsible company in any sort of way, if they looked at the thing that they did that was irresponsible, the responsible thing to do is look at the trademarks, look at the patents, look at all of this stuff, make sure that you're not actually breaking laws, period. So they could be trying to trademark it, and you know, like it doesn't mean that just because you're trying to trademark doesn't mean that you're going to buy it, like that you're going to get the trademark. It doesn't necessarily mean that. So, you know, because companies will look at that. They're going to be like, "Oh yeah, the name Nintendo wasn't taken yet." It's not like websites, because websites, that's what happened with websites. Like, I could be the official Crane, I could be the official Crane and everything. I'm so known, all of that stuff, and then I'm going to be like, "Okay, I want the URL officialcrane.com." And then somebody else buys it off me, and then I could be like, oh, hey, and then there's just like, hey, somebody bought it already. In terms of trademark, that's not necessarily how that works. So if Nintendo never used the word, never got the trademark for that, you know, depending on the country, they might look into that. They'd be like, I think there might be a conflict here because there's already a company called Nintendo. It's like, it's, you know, but if they buy the trademark, then that's, even if they're not Nintendo, but they buy the trademark, then all of the things that they said about that, you know, they don't like hurt themselves. Goes to my, I knew that was the first thing that was going to happen. I knew that was the first thing when I said that. I put myself in that situation. But yeah, any last words on this? Oh, okay, wait, I just want to read what Shadow said. Shadowleaf said, it's an escape attempt. It sucks in origin, though, but I hope they fail. As much as a company providing an all-in-one easy platform is a great idea, that shouldn't be at the expense of harming the actual developers innovating and making the root tools. Yes, that's it's very murky because these are companies. It's murky because they're companies. These aren't people. These are companies. Companies are their own entities that have many people in them. So it's, you know, it harkens back to me like when people were talking about like, oh, you know, why don't they just add Final Fantasy VII in this game, or why don't they do this and this? Isn't that all Square? It's like, no, because those properties belong to different people. The licensings belong to different people. Like, it's not it's not as simple as people think when it comes to that kind of stuff. Any words? Any last words on this? No. Okay, so
No, I think that covers the full spectrum of the subject. Honestly.
well, going into something a little bit lighter that doesn't need to be like we don't need too much rumination on. And Strife, really, fuck you for doing that. The official crane dot edu. That sounds kind of sick, though. It's educating motherfuckers up in here. Anyways, Final Fantasy V dropped, and that's quite interesting. The Pixel remaster dropped, and I was actually I got this news because I saw everybody streaming it. That's how I got the news. I didn't get the news from anything else. Square, I did eventually open one of my emails that I barely go into, and I saw that Square Enix was just like, Pixel Remaster came out. I'm like, oh, good job. But
Time to hydrate.
This game came out, and one thing that I'm absolutely loving about this is that people are loving Final Fantasy V, and they're like, oh, this game is better than I thought. It's like, yeah. You guys are all about your Final Fantasy 4s and Final Fantasy 6s, and you guys are just skirting over 5, but 5 actually, even in gameplay, I think is plays a lot better than 4. I think for that generation of games, 5 is the apex of that generation of games.
I need to work my way up to 5. I'm still currently on hold in Final Fantasy 1 until my long list gets to it.
Such devastation!
Yes, such devastation as I ingest some water. But no, that is definitely one of the cases. Like a lot of the problems that you have with all of the other Final Fantasies prior, Final Fantasy V fixes. So I think they were the first game in my estimation. All right, I know that I have limited knowledge because I play mostly Final Fantasy games, but Final Fantasy V, I think, sort of mastered the job system in a way that, a lot of games that use job systems from this point onwards, I think they sort of took the page from Final Fantasy V. When it comes to, when you have characters that switch off jobs and stuff, I think they are the ones who sort of revolutionized that. Because you had something along the lines of that in 3. And then in 4, they didn't do that. They separated it to every character. And then 5 sort of just reconsolidated that into something much, much better. The writing is actually a lot funnier. There's a lot of interesting characters that are going about in that. You also have, an expansion of the lore of Chocobos, which, we can all thank Final Fantasy V for that. And the characters are very fun. For sort of that pixel era, Final Fantasy V, I think, did the best in terms of showing emotion into these characters. They had the big goofiness, they have those little things. In fact, a lot of the Tales series from that point onwards, the Tales series, like Tales of Fantasia and Tales of a lot of those games, sort of follow in the footsteps of what 5 did in terms of how they animate their little sprites. So that's something that I'm definitely celebrating in terms of Final Fantasy V. So yeah, any words and any thoughts on these boys?
Just that it's really unfortunate that we had those what was it, the fan translations that had the character of Butts from the town of Lick. He'll never outlive that, unfortunately.
Butts from the town of Lick.
I think 5 is officially the Final Fantasy that's not an MMO that I know the least about, so I am actually excited to play it because it's a new experience for me.
That is actually the reason. What you said right there is the reason why I thought that if any Final Fantasy deserved a remake or would do well with a remake, I thought 5 would be the best. I thought 5 would be the best choice because you can sort of Guardians of the Galaxy it. You're going to be
essentially remake everything.
Yeah, make it actually remake it and then make it modern. And, and you can even sort of change a lot of the things about it. It doesn't even have to be medieval anymore. There's plenty of things that you can change about it and it can still sort of retain its 5-ness, so to speak. But speaking of things that are retaining its Final Fantasy-ness, let's go into esports. All right, starting off with esports. I've asked this question in the past, but Final Fantasy the First Soldier. Is Final Fantasy the First Soldier... I asked this question when beta was out, and now that the game is out, my question is still, can it be the next... Next is used operatively. Final Fantasy MMO. Or not MMO. Esport.
I'm gonna be a blitzball when I grow up.
Yes, you will be an blitzball when you grow up. You will be. There you are now. But right now you have a pretty blue dress. What do you guys think about this?
Not interested.
What do you guys think? Yuzora's not interested in this, but what do you think about, like, the way that it's looking so far as an esport?
So, like with a lot of other battle royales, I'm not very interested. So it's hard for me to give like a realistic guesstimation on whether this will succeed in an esports sphere or not, because I'm already naturally inclined to go like, the gameplay doesn't seem interesting enough to me. I know people are very excited by the gameplay because obviously the battle royale genre is very, very popular. But it's not necessarily the most interesting to watch. It's not like a fighting game or even like a first-person shooter where you can see a lot of the action unfold. Battle royales tend to be like, while they do eventually get to like an exciting portion, just with the nature of the game, it's a very slow build to what could be very exciting or kind of like a wet part of an ending. So it's difficult. Like overall, it might be the hot shit, like coming out of the gate, but I don't think it'll have the lasting sort of stay that Square is hoping for, especially in the esport sphere.
Yeah, I think when it comes to esports specifically, I don't think even Final Fantasy as a name has a running in esports yet. Maybe a Final Fantasy MOBA. Esports love MOBAs. But until we get Final Fantasy MOBA, I don't think Final Fantasy is going to even have a pinky in the esports ring. Not yet.
Well, I think one of the reasons why I think this might be good is I've been watching a lot of the people who were ambassadors to the launch, and a lot of them are playing right now, and they've teamed up. I think it's parties of, I think a maximum party of like 3 versus 3. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you guys, but one thing I do like about this, first of all, I will tell you that I know Strife is here, and Strife here in the chat said that maybe it needs to be ported to PC before it can do that. That is not the case. Meaning, League of Legends Wild Rift is working perfectly fine on mobile. Perfectly fine on mobile. So they've already had competitions for it. It's actually doing really, really well. You know, we're going to talk about Game Awards later, and they are, in fact, nominated for a Game Award. So, you know, like, it just because it's on mobile doesn't mean that one, it can be emulated, and it's actually, I think, as far as mobile games go, it's actually legal to emulate mobile games because you don't purchase them. But I don't think that the mobileness of it is going to be the problem of it. I think it's pretty much like I think it's more based on the inner workings of the game itself. That is one of the big things that I do see from it. One thing that I do enjoy about it, and I think it is something that to me gives me some sparkle of esport viability, is the fact that even though you're watching it you have to watch it from one person's perspective and then shift, so kind of like CSGO, it's easy to watch. It's actually very easy to spectate. You know, you have a character, and then one thing that's good about like a third-person shooter, quote unquote, is that your field of vision can be much bigger because you are controlling a third-person character.
Of course.
The field of vision is far bigger, which is ironic because it's mobile. You would think that that would be the case for something like PC or something, but I think that's the thing that is going to happen with it. It's sort of looking like it. I didn't actually get my hands on it. I've been watching a lot of it though, in hopes that people will drop some stuff. But I know we have a little bit more information about that. But yeah. So where are we at? Is it a yay or nay or stay? So let's go. So with Luke, yay, nay, or stay?
I'm still with I'm gonna say a big I'm still gonna say nay.
Okay, that's a
I'm
nay.
still
That's
still
a nay.
nay on First Soldier.
That's a nay. And then Haraxmant.
It's hard to say. It's a BR. So it's a BR based on Final Fantasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have two things you can really compare it. Is it better than the other third-person BR out right now? Fortnite? I don't think it's got any competitive edge on Fortnite right now. Or is it better than any other Final Fantasy out right now?
I mean, I think it's comparable to like PUBG.
It's an A for me.
I think PUBG is, and PUBG is an esport, whether we like it or not. So
it's a deceive. It's a deceive for this guy.
Oh, straight up deceive.
Oh, so
straight up
it's not even a nay. It's a deceive. I think it's a stay. I think one of the good things about these sort of games is that you can rebalance them. That's the reason why, like when they tried their first hand at an esport, I didn't give up all hope immediately, at least, because you can rebalance and repurpose. And so we've yet to see this. So right now it's a stay, nay, nay. Oh no, I'm not gonna do it. That's cringy. All right, moving on to our next. Now, you guys don't know about this. I told you I'm a big fan of TSM, and TSM is experiencing the equivalent of a shitstorm right now. Yes. So if you look at the picture right now, we have Reginald and Doublelift. Doublelift is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, League player in North America.
I will tell you how popular he is. Doublelift is the only name I know in all of esports League of Legends. Why? I couldn't tell you why. I've never seen a game of his. Like that name has just stuck with me, and I think I followed his stream for like maybe a month.
Okay.
Without ever watching it. But so that's how popular he is. I have heard of him, and I care nothing for League of Legends esports.
So,
and I could not name a single other player.
Blah, blah, blah,
as someone who doesn't know anything about League of Legends esports, please, Crane, tell me, why should I know this name?
Okay, well, Doublelift is the player that has won the most League of Legends championships. He's one of the highest paid streamers in the world, not just in the LCS, not just in North America. And he was a former ADC for TSM. Now he stopped. He retired. He still streams, I believe, under the contract of TSM. But TSM right now has not been doing so well. I talked about last time how Bjergsen, they're sort of like star personality. It's not even just a player. Left and joined another team, much to my chagrin. And Doublelift here decided to share a few words about the inner workings of TSM. In fact, what's funny is that Reginald's ex-girlfriend, her name is Lena, she became the president of League of Legends. Sorry, TSM.
Of League of Legends.
No, I was about to say League of Legends TSM, but then I stopped myself because I think she's just president of the TSM company itself, because Reginald here is the CEO. Now, she recently quit too, and she is the girlfriend of Doublelift. So, think about all that kind of drama, right? Like that's pretty big. So they have that connection going on, and so one's ex-girlfriend, one's current girlfriend, and then all of this sort of shitstorm is happening. And then now what's happening is that they are having a sort of Reddit war, and TSM is yet again sort of in the crosshairs of all social media, and a lot of people are sort of pointing at Reginald and his inability to be nice or some shit like that. And I just wanted to bring attention to it because it's hilarious as a story. It is absolutely something like, it's like a telenovela. Like, yeah, DSM, Reginald.
Crane does love his dramas. He does love his dramas.
Why are you doing this to Lena?
You got all this skill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's just funny. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is just for the viewers. If some shit happens, I want to report it just because it's funny. It's really funny. Anyways, going out here because League of Legends right now is the only esport that I really, really, truly care about at the moment. There are a lot of roster changes that are happening in League of Legends, so much so that a lot of teams, because normally you would keep, this is sort of how big this is. Last year, these teams were making money moves, giving people like sword art or, like perks. I know you guys don't care too much about those names, so I'll just sort of keep it within the narrative. These people were paying millions of dollars for people's contracts. Millions. These players were instant millionaires last year. Instant millionaires. And now this is how topsy-turvy the roster scene is right now. A lot of those import players that they spent millions of dollars on, a lot of them are leaving. A lot of them are swapping teams. And in fact, a lot of teams are just completely rebranding. They're completely shifting everything up. And it's, it wouldn't be news if it was just one or two companies doing that, one or two organizations that are doing that. But what's happening now is that it's everyone now. Like the biggest of this list that you can see were Cloud9, Team Liquid, TSM, and maybe EG. But they're all of them are sort of like reformatting their computers, so to speak. So they're going to go into this next season with like a blank slate, and honestly, might not necessarily be a good idea because especially if you're doing sort of a team sport, you kind of need sort of the team chemistry. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're click-clacking with your keyboard. It's still a team sport. So that's pretty bad. That feels pretty bad. Mm-hmm. It just makes it feel like that North America is getting really, 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 really desperate. And last on our list is Dissidia NT is still not an esport. So yeah, there we go. And
still not an esport.
It's still not an esport.
Sad. So sad. Like I'm always hoping every week.
I know. I'm hoping one of these weeks it will become an esport. One of these weeks it will become an esport. But for now, it is still not an esport. Well,
whether it's the leagues or just your casual play, what else do you got about League of Legends for us, Crane?
Have you tried the expanded free trial of
Nope.
our critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV? You can play through the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60 for free with no restrictions on playtime.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sue. That was
Wow.
really informative. That was really, really informative.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, depending on how the PvP revamp is going on in 14 for Endwalker, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had. Let's sort of pivot back to our story about the first soldier, and are you hoping, Crane? That only leads to despair. I know. And Yuzora, when it happens, I know that it would be a glorious time for you when I'm literally sunk and drowning in a sea of despair. But I can't really get any more poetic than that. But moving on to the first soldier, if you guys are looking, if you guys are a lot of the people here are watching are Final Fantasy people, and if you kind of look right now on Twitch at some of your favorite Final Fantasy content creators, they're all playing this game right now. They're all playing this game. In fact, they're all playing this game with each other. A majority of them are playing this game with each other. They might have taken a break, they might have taken a shit, but they're still playing this game. In fact, this is probably the only game that they can take a shit and play it at the same time. So, that's good. That's good. Now there is absolutely no place that you cannot play Final Fantasy in any capacity. I do need to tell you that I had it was the
Shall
funniest
I give you
thing.
despair?
It was the funniest thing, Proto Man. I will tell you who was in despair and who you could give it to, because a lot of people, speaking of our content creators, we have people like Schrodinger and Blitz and
Fish fried,
catfish, something like that. And
the tongue twister.
yes, and like there was a lot of other content creators. I think Sleep Easy was doing it. A lot, man, just all of them. Of course, they're gonna have like the Final Fantasy VII content creators. Of course, they would have a field day with this, and some of them were even sort of quote unquote paid by Square Enix themselves to be to stay up at this ungodly hour, which was not an ungodly hour for me because, you know, PST, and they stayed up and they were there during the launch, queuing up on their phones, buying whatever Elgato stream decks they needed to do so that they can stream on their from their phones and have all of their overlays and all of that shit. And they were there, and they were amassing a lot of hype, and there was like hundreds of people. Like, I've seen people that night. Trust me, I know, because I was there. I was there in the crowds, watching, spectating, all of those things. And what happened was exactly what I thought was going to happen. Guess what happened, boys? What happened? What do you think happened?
I'm assuming no one could connect to a match.
Yep. Raubon Extreme, except it's
Big
for
surprise.
except it's for Final Fantasy VII. For a Final
Big
Fantasy
fucking
VII game.
surprise.
Yep.
Big fucking surprise.
Yep. Who would have thought?
It's like it's not even the first BR this week that had server issues. Flashbacks to Forza.
But Forza, Forza was able to stabilize at least. But this one, oh boy, and it was more hilarious because there was like I'm pretty sure there was like a lot of stream sniping, and man, this is one of the reasons why you don't want to be famous. Some of the few reasons you don't want to be famous is that if ever you are in queue for the launch of a game, and you are actually paid by Square, I don't know in what way they are paid. I heard the word money tossed around, but then I also heard that the word money was also retracted into being like in-game items or whatever. I don't believe that shit, but actually I do believe that shit. I think knowing some of these content creators, they'll definitely fall for that. And one of those content creators is me. I would definitely fall for that. How much are you paying me? I'm giving you all of these Shinra dollars. Fucking sign me the fuck up.
Shinra bucks.
Shinra bucks, bruh. I get to buy Shinra stuff. And what was hilarious about it too was that they were all in queue and they were there and they wanted to get their names. I don't know what the fuck names they wanted to put. And you already see where this is going. And
yes, I do.
And other people were stealing it. Other people who actually managed to get into the game took those names from some of the content creators. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
That's funny.
Because there's this one YouTube creator I've started watching recently by the name of Josh Strife Hayes. And he does a lot of MMO content. And he's also been doing, because we can lead on to, he's been talking about New World recently as well, and I know we'll be talking about that later. Spoilers. But I'm reminded that since he is a person that sort of does reviews on bad, or someone to even say shitty MMOs, he has now reached enough of an audience to where he can't get his name in shitty MMOs because other players have already taken them before he can do a video on that MMO, which I find hilarious.
Well, I mean, it was actually on stream where people were like mad because a lot of people came in and guess what you think the first name they wanted to use for their character, for their avatar.
Cloud
Strife.
Zach Fair.
Actually,
Sephiroth.
Actually, you cannot use the word Cloud Strife. You can't use the name Cloud Strife. You can't use the name Zach Fair. You can't use the name Sephiroth. You can, however, use the name Vincent Valentine, and some lucky bastard took that.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Wow.
It was such a big deal that people in the chats, in multiple of those chats, were all doing it. And you know what? I gotta praise them because their community is really tight. Like, it's really tight because there were a lot of people who were in all of their streams. All of them, myself included. I was there. I was watching Schrodinger at the same time I was watching Blitz. Like, it was very funny. It was very funny. And it was very sad because Blitz was the one who, at least that night, he's playing it now, but last night he just couldn't get in. Everybody else had was getting it and all of that stuff. And I think lucky for him, he actually was able to get his name, the BLTZZ. Some of the other content creators, not so lucky. I'm not gonna say their names because it might be a little the wounds might be a little too fresh.
Too fresh. Too
Yes.
fresh.
Oh, and look at this. Who's playing it right now? Oh. I can't actually play this game. I cannot play this game until it becomes available on BlueStacks. I can't play this game. My phone won't allow it. It's not, it's just what it is. And you know what? I'm not really interested. Not really interested. I know everybody else would have been. That's why. And guess what? The fact that the servers were getting destroyed and everybody in those communities were there just means that I was right. All of you motherfuckers who are just like, oh, this sucks. Oh, they're doing a battle royale. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, it's like Fortnite. Oh, that shit. Yeah, you guys can fucking suck it because all of you fucking bought that shit. All of you did. All of you did. Don't think I was there. I was supporting them, but I was also watching out for you motherfuckers. The same people. I was like, I know that username. I'm just kidding. I'm not really like that. I'm not mad about it. I wanted people to play the game. I want people to play the game. And for the most part, I know that people just shit on stuff to like to shit on stuff. It's just kind of the cool new Gen Z thing to do, is to shit on things. I understand it. I get it. But go out and play it. Play it. And then come back and shit on it.
I mean, like, just because I'm not interested, or like, a couple of us aren't interested or whatever, doesn't mean we want to see it fail. Like, people who do enjoy this style of gameplay, I hope it's really fun for them. Like battle royales have never been my thing since they started breaking out into the gamosphere. But it's like, I want people to enjoy a game that they want to enjoy. Whether I like it or not, I hope they have a good time. And the fact that they couldn't play it because servers were shit on release day, because of course they were, that sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, it does. But I think the game is going to be good. I think people are going to enjoy it. I don't know if it's going to be like esport level. I'm hoping that maybe maybe it will inspire them to create something along that line. But maybe something for PC, something that people can really really sink their teeth into. Because I was watching it, the game is a little janky. I do not appreciate the fact that people are literally dressed up as Cloud and Tifa, I don't appreciate that. I do not like that. I do not like that. It sort of kills the immersion for me. I'm not a big fan of it. If people start walking around and dressed up like Sephiroth, fuck this. Really, not good. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. I know they're trying to make money, but not a good idea. Still, not a good idea. I would rather people get Cloud's hairstyle than his outfit. I would rather they get his hairstyle than his outfit. But so far on the front of the game, it's kind of looking pretty good. Yeah, it's not looking horrible. That's definitely not the case. It's definitely not looking horrible. But that is pretty much. I just feel incredibly vindicated right now that people are, in fact, playing this game and looking forward to this game, that they crashed the servers, that the server congestion just could not handle it. It just could not handle it. So, I mean, look at Haraxmant right here, fiddling with it already. Look at him.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a testing on it. I got to do the training, but. Tap to use materia.
Yep.
Take that. Take this. Take this.
Yep. I mean, there's plenty of ways that you can sort of go about the game. I want to sort of maybe next week we can have I want to invite a guest. I want to invite somebody who actually played the game and sit down with us and actually go through the merits of it. I really want somebody to do that. Who knows? What the smartest person I know last night amongst the content creators was probably Night Sky Prince because he went to sleep. So good for him.
Hey!
Absolutely.
Smart man.
Absolutely. That's a good man. That is a good man if ever I did
Been
see.
called out in chat, Harax. Apparently you a sellout. Oh, shit.
By the way, Shadowleaf, you said that I would fall for Shinra's, like... look, if Shinra's trying to sell me on something, I'm the kind of person who would never fall for the propaganda. I will just buy the stuff because I like it. That's it. It's like, I know that this is bad for the planet, but man... That Mako...
But I get a Shinra dollar rebate?
Yeah,
nice.
but that Mako powered iPod? Fuck. I don't know. I didn't fall for it. I chose it, yes. It is a choice.
Parkour.
But yes, them Shinra duelers. Anyways, moving on to our next one. We could talk about the preseason, or we can talk about the Ruined King. All right. Now, I gotta take care of something real quick. I will join you, but I want to hear what I want you, Harax, tell them a little bit about Ruined King, why don't you?
Okay, so Ruined King is a turn-based RPG released with the story set in the world of League of Legends. It's fantastic so far. I had to jump on the train with Arcane coming out, and me being so obsessed with Arcane, they decided to drop an RPG, and I had to take my chances. And Bilgewater, hello. You want a Bilgewater story with Misfortune as the captain of a crew that tries to protect I guess Bilgewater, I assume, from the Shadow Isles, which I'm also assuming, because I haven't gotten very far in the game. Have you seen much of it, Luke?
No. I sadly have aside from the announcement trailer that it was out yesterday, I have not participated in any Ruined King content because I don't want it to be ruined for me.
The other game that was released is, I don't know, some Hex Tech rhythm game.
Which was kind of the bigger surprise for me, honestly. That because we knew about Ruined King. I'm not sure if we knew about Ziggs's Hextech game. Hextech rhythm game.
I looked a little bit into that as well, and it seems all right. It's a rhythm game. I might get it just for the achievements, just to sit, it's a rhythm game. I could do a rhythm game. But Ruined King. Let's talk about Ruined King. It's phenomenal, right? It uses this system where you have your basic attacks, attack, defend, whatever, taunt, right? For some tanks, they have taunts. Or you have your special abilities. And when you're going to go activate one of the special abilities, you can actually choose the speedy lane, balance lane, or power lane, which makes your next turn come up faster or later and makes the attack more powerful or weaker. So if you need a quick heal, you could do a quick heal. It'll heal you less, but that's okay. You just need a quick heal. Or if you're like, well, I can kill this enemy with my weak attack and it'll go off faster, use the speed lane. But if you're really just trying to get enemies down, might as well use the power lane. So it gives you options of you can swing harder at the expense of your next turn coming later.
Right. Okay. So this is because Crane and I did have a little bit of back and forth about this off stream, because I have, of course, I've mentioned before, I played their previous game, Battle Chasers Night War, which graphically very similar. Exploration looked very similar, and battle initially to me looked very similar, but this new lane mechanic is definitely new to Ruined King.
I was afraid when buying in that it was going to be very mobile game, very phone game, because of the way they had combat, but because of the selection of abilities, it just teetered outside of mobile game range. It seems to be going by very quickly, though. After let me get you an exact number here. Having played the game for 3 hours, I'm already 14% in the game, and that's 3 hours of exploration. Me doing the extra pickup every chest. That's
Of
3
course,
hours
yeah.
on the hardest difficulty as well, because us achievement hunters. Very difficult on this mode.
Yeah, no, that seems to coincide with Battle Chasers. Battle Chasers was very difficult on the higher difficulties. Like normal felt about right. Higher, just it didn't feel like it was quite tweaked right to play on higher difficulties. Like it was just like, because I don't know about like gear recruitment in this game, but gear recruitment was always it was mapped to like the levels of the gear you could get were mapped to the dungeon, not to the difficulty. So even the best stuff that you could get at the time, at the beginning of the game, was always weaker, much weaker than what the dungeons would dish out at you damage wise. So you had to get really creative and really start focusing in on the armor and gear crafting, which you don't have access to at the very beginning. So it's you got to try to weasel out every single extra point you can at the very beginning of the game.
It looks like it's doing something similar in Ruin King. Hardcore, even when you click the difficulty, I don't remember what it's called, probably hardcore. It's specifically stated it's very difficult. You will have to utilize every enhancement possible to be able to win the fights upcoming. And I have no clue how the fucking enhancements work. So
well, I mean, it's nice now because we have people right now who are like who are playing Ruin King, and Luke has played Battle Chasers, so I've seen how Battle Chasers plays, like at least their battle system, not everything else, but their battle system. And this thing, Ruin King, is doing something sort of unique by adding this sort of element called the lanes.
Yes. Haraxmant was explaining the lane mechanics to me, and they do sound very, very different. Like I understand their mechanics where slower or stronger attacks are slower, weaker attacks are quicker, and so you can go kind of do these different lanes, almost in like certain like I think it was like Street Fighter versus SNK, where you can pick like different grooves for how to best fit your play style. So that definitely feels like there's like an active part of customization in your combat, which I find very, very interesting. So it and that is definitely different from Battle Chasers, where just the stronger attacks took longer or cost more. The spells took longer to cast, or it cost more of their resources.
Time to hydrate.
But here it feels like they're implementing more of the sort of like actual League of Legends mechanics where well, of course, there's the three major lanes. You have top, mid, and low.
Bottom. Yes.
Bottom. Yeah, that's how far.
Well, I like how they're tying that up, but I'm also liking that they're adding sort of another layer of complexity to it, where the game has like these zones where it's like you go through it, and when your goal is to either avoid these, like hitting these pockets of time, like being like having a move during this part of the battle, like and the thing is, you have a lot of mechanics where you can push people and pull people away from it, and you yourself get into those situations. So it adds another layer of complexity to the game that actually makes it fun. One thing that I was talking about that I really enjoyed when I streamed it yesterday, there was something that I thought was really unique. In the sense that, I mean, no, experience-wise, just the experience. I thought that it was quite unique as an experience to have sort of like a turn-based battle system where the battles are not as frequent, but they are long, and they seem to find like a balance between how much you should be fighting and what you gain from it. And I think in that way, I think if Battle Chasers is in any way similar to that, then that means that I think that they've sort of had have a good grasp on not only the economy of their battles, but the duration of them as well.
Yes, yes, that definitely sounds very similar to Battle Chasers, where it's you see all the enemies on the map, at least for Battle Chasers. I presume that's the same
Yeah,
for
it's the same.
Ruin King.
Mhm.
So you see a representation of the enemies on the map, and then you get a grouping of enemies. And yes, the battles did usually last longer, but there was less battles.
Mhm.
And so and you really learned like there was a strategy for each specific enemy type. Like there was a specific way you wanted to tackle each enemy, and they were good at that. Where, you know, even if you don't have like the correct character for it, then you might have the ability for it for like to tackle an aerial enemy or to tackle a heavily armored enemy or one that has like kind of these like rage mechanics and they'll go berserk if they lose too much health. So, and you want to prioritize certain enemies at certain times. And they were very, very good about that. That made every single encounter really, really interesting to do. And getting, and then, you know, of course, turning it on its head when it started scrambling those enemy types.
Mhm. Also, their progression it's doing a very good job of this because I wanted to be like you with Super Robot Wars, and I only wanted to play the game when I'm streaming it. So I got to the point, and I story wise at least, right? I'm not going to touch the story until blah blah blah, and so I was like, okay, well, I still wanted to play the game after I ended stream.
It's hard. It's hard, isn't it?
No, and what I was doing was like, okay, I'm just going to do everything else but story. Right, and there's a lot of stuff to do because there's these quests, there's these bounties, there's there's you sort of being able to master the enchantments and being able to play around with the character progression, which is very interesting, by the way. That's something that I want us to really look at when it comes to like Dehima, like our game. But then it got to a point where the game refused to give me EXP.
Yes.
Oh, did that happen?
Yeah, it refused to give me EXP. So, and it did something interesting because at the point of the game right now, like where I'm at right now, this is where you last found me, on my stream, was the highest level that my enemies was level 11, and they were whooping my ass already at that point, right? And I'm like, yeah, because like one thing that's good about it is that it's not just a question of scaling. So it's not just now I'm fighting these enemies and now they're hitting me harder. It's not that there's different the layers of complexity are now rearing its face at me. It's rearing its fangs at me more like it, and all of a sudden like I have to think about like, oh, how much stamina do I have? Like stamina as in health. Like how much health do I have? Like which wild card buffs or debuffs am I getting in these matches? Like how many percentage do I heal? It's all of a sudden it gets down to that point where I'm just like, okay, when something said, and it's very easy to think this way, right? When there was an ability or something or anything that a subtitle, whatever, that said, oh yeah, 5% increase in physical defense. It's like 5% increase in, like, it feels negligible, right? You're like, okay, whatever. But then you get to a certain point of the game where the enemies are harder, then all of a sudden you're just like, that 5%, that feels really significant by this point in time. So I start looking into that. All of a sudden there are things like runes and everything. And yeah, anyways, long story short, I go through the game. And then I'm tired of getting my ass beat, and I'm playing on normal, by the way. This is not me playing on veteran or hard.
Yeah.
So I'm playing it on normal, and I'm like, man, okay, like I'm not. And for the story content, I'm good. But for all of the rest of the stuff, like the side quests and all of that, like I'm getting my ass whooped. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I have nothing else to do because I don't want to move on with the story. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna level up. I get to level 15. The highest level of enemies that I found are 11. And I get to level 15. And the game refuses to give me any more EXP.
Yeah.
Like it refuses. It's like you're just not, like not even a little bit, not even a tiny bit. 0. Like not even 1,
0.
not even 2, 0. I'm like, wow, okay. They're just stopping me in my tracks. And what's funny was that I played on a little bit more, just so that I can get more content. So letting you guys know, I have Yasuo now. So I have Ilaoi, Braum, and Yasuo. And I added Yasuo in the party, and he starts off the same level as my characters at the time, which is 14. But then his EXP is at 0, and everybody else is, they're already in transit to become level 15.
Mm-hmm.
The moment they hit 15, he was the only person getting EXP at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were getting, so that just means that the enemies were giving out EXP. They're just weren't giving it out for level 15.
Yeah.
So they gate me that way, and it's like, fuck. And it's cool. It's cool how they did that, because them doing that forced me to level up or to explore all of the other aspects of battle. Which is really fucking nice. Like that's kind of a really cool design.
Yeah, it forces you and this was the same in Battle Chasers, like out leveling content isn't likely unless it's just like it's a side quest you hold off until way later. Like you can't just like out level the next bit of the story because the game stops you from over leveling. So it'll let you get maybe a little bit of an edge, but because you'll be cut off from tougher enemies that give out experience again, the game balances itself out so that it keeps being a decent challenge for you, so you can't just out level it with just pure numbers.
And not just that, like it does a little bit more than just that. Remember me, like I'm Mr. Battle Economy, and when it comes down to like the battle economy, one thing that was really cool about it was that seeing how important those fights are and seeing what like their drops and all of that, the game made it actually difficult for you to respawn those enemies. You would go around, and I found out that you had to go into these rest areas, and then when you rest, then it respawns all of the enemies. But those rest areas, they're few and far between. Like I had to go into like how many maps, like out of that area to rest, so that I can go back all the way back into that area and kill monsters again and kill trash. And that's kind of cool, because it's almost like the game really was able to balance like the resources that you have, your ability to go through them, the fact that you can go through them. Money is a little scarce, especially when you're going with upgrades. Like there's many ways. Like right now I can keep playing, like not to level, but to get money and for upgrades and to get items and all that stuff. But then it's actually quite a steep climb to get super powered from that point. And I even managed to unlock a arena area, and I'm strong enough to kill a lot of things. Like even and the thing is, they gate even that. The enemy that I beat, the boss that I beat in that arena, I'm level 15, right? The enemy that I beat there, the boss, because you go into this arena, you pay money, and then you try to kill the boss and you get rewards, right? Like typical RPG arena mechanics. I go through it, and the thing that's really cool about it is that my enemy was level 25. So a good 10 levels ahead of me. I killed it. I beat it, no problem. But then the game wouldn't allow me to, like, the game said specifically, these aren't the only enemies, but we have nothing for now. Come back later. It's like, damn it. It's almost like you're forcing me to continue the story. Like you're not allowing me to gallivant anymore. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Yeah. I feel like I want to bear that in mind, like going forward with with the game that we're trying to make.
Yeah, Battle Chaser is very much the same thing, where there was side content that you could unlock with either side missions, or there was an arena there as well. But like it's like you can only go so far before the game's like, no, you can't. Come back later. We got to restock the arena before you come back. Before you hit the next like story flag that'll unlock more arena content or other side quests like that. So yeah, they've kept a lot of the same mentalities from Battle Chasers to Ruin King.
I think a lot of my like gripes with the game, a lot of the things that I guess I considered a hiccup, playing that game was a lot of stuff like voice acting and story. The voice acting was actually great. The voice acting is great. Like, there's really not much problems with the voice acting. It's just that it's because it has the visual novel style of storytelling. Everything becomes about dialogue, and then when dialogue gets redundant, which it does get redundant, it becomes kind of annoying. So, again, not a big spoiler, but like in the beginning, when you're with Misfortune, everyone just keeps talking about how you killed Gangplank. And it's fine if it's just, it's already kind of annoying that it's NPC banter. But it's also story banter. Like, they make it like it's an important point all the time. And then they keep showing you cutscenes, like those sort of like those comic style cutscenes, right? That they do.
Yeah.
And they keep showing it to you. And I'm like, yes, I get it. Like, yes, she killed Gangplank. I get it. Like, I know, I understand. And she's just like, man, I wish I could kill him again. I'm like, bro, like, stop. Like, stop it. Stop it. Because if there's a twist later on, like, it feels kind of corny already. I don't know if that makes sense. There's a lot of things that just don't feel very good. The voice acting is superb, by the way. The voice acting is absolutely, absolutely stellar. And however, it's like when Ilaoi met Braum, man, that felt so contrived. Like, it felt so contrived. It's like, oh yes, I must go defeat the Black Mist. And then Braum is like, Braum will go with you. And it's like, why? Because Braum wants to thank you for being so nice. It's like, yeah? Really? That's it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm saying this because there is a shit ton of characters in League of Legends who could have taken that spot. A shit ton of characters who could have taken that spot. But you picked Braum, and then you didn't try to make his story more relevant. Like, for everybody else, there's like this deeper plot. Like, obviously Misfortune and Ilaoi are like in the thick of it, and then here come Ari and Yasuo, which, by the way, on stream I did show everybody on stream that I showed them the Spirit Blossom event where we first get Yone, and in the end of that is actually the beginning of Ruin King. So Ari hires Yasuo, and they leave Ionia. Yeah, they leave Ionia, and they're on the boat, and they look exactly the way they are, like in the game. And they're leaving Ionia, and they're going to Bilgewater. They literally talk about it. And I'm like, oh, this is a continuation. Sneaky. All right, like that's kind of cool. That's super cool.
I'm glad that's not just going for Arcane, like that there is some sort of cohesion between Ruin King and the rest of the League of Legends content. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, it's definitely canon. It is definitely canon. I think they even talk about it. I think they even spoke about it. Like, one thing that I do like, there are plenty of things that I do like. And one of the things that I feel very bad about is that in Final Fantasy in Final Fantasy VII, the First Soldier, that dropped.
Show us a video.
That dropped the same time as the Ruined King, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Soldier First Class!" And I'm just like, "Okay, you guys play that game, and it's trash compared to like Ruined King." Like, it's so apt that Ruined King has the name King in it because it's really good.
The king that's ruining all the competition.
Yeah. Well, it's ruined by the fact that other things dropped that day. I mean, it is sort of their fault. They did drop the game on us like out of nowhere.
Admittedly, I wasn't keeping up with release date schedule on that game. So I'm not sure if it was always intended for this exact date, but it was definitely a surprise to me. So I was not prepared for Ruin King to drop.
Huh. Interesting. Tigress redeemed a video. You want... Not really caring for... Hey, what's up, Ken? Oh, what's up, Keshin? Hey, he kind of my aesthetic. I mean, I didn't know the first soldier dropped. Well, it did, and it was fucking hilarious. It was fucking hilarious. Tigress, you wanted me to watch this video? This is the video you wanted me to watch? Not really caring for her reaction, just the name change surprise. Oh, wait, really? What is the name change? Okay, because, oh, what is this? What is this? The name? Okay, so they... Staples Center... Okay, so they renamed... Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. All right.
Petrified?
Guys, breaking news, people, breaking news. Here on the scene right now is that in LA, if you guys are familiar with the Staples Center has often been referred to over the years as the house that Kobe built. Basically, it's where the Laker games were being held. And yesterday, news broke that the Staples Center will now be renamed the Crypto.com Arena.
Oh no.
That's fucking...
Oh no.
That is fucking funny. That is fucking funny.
Ooh.
That is hilarious. I love how there's a .com in there. It couldn't just be the crypto arena. They had to be the crypto.com arena.
I mean, yeah, if it was just the crypto arena, I almost feel better about it. Like, I still wouldn't. But then at least it sounds like, I don't know, maybe we're gonna fight zombies there. Like maybe that's where the next Mortal Kombat's taking place.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's the crypto.com arena, it's like, ooh.
I wouldn't even open an email where the sender's name was crypto.com. I'd be like, this is spam.
This is spam.
I would look up as I drive through LA, I would look at the Staples Center and see that name and be like, oh, someone put their spam up there. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Unfortunately, I cannot play the video because I do not want to be taken down. I don't know if watching the news would be equivalent to that, but
probably. Let's face it.
You did say but.
But.
And I looked.
It's still funny. I'm glad we found out about it because it is pretty funny.
It is absolutely hilarious. Okay, you know what else is funny? The reputation.
What else is funny?
The reputation of the Game Awards. That's also funny.
It's something.
All right. So, the Game Awards yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, right? They dropped the nominees for all of the categories.
Yes.
They dropped the nominees for all of the categories. I actually wanted to go through them, but then I'll let Harax lead on this. This was his story, so.
Please let me read my scripted news read.
The only person who is responsible enough to write down what he is going to say.
The Game Awards, an annual award show dedicated to gaming, officially released their nominees, as well as open voting for us to vote for our favorite games in many genres. For us Final Fantasy fans, 14 is represented in 2 categories: Best Ongoing Game and Best Community Support. Personally, I'm excited for Best Sport/Racing Game, which features such titles like Forza Horizon 5, Hot Wheels Unleashed, and Riders Republic. I got my fingers crossed for Forza Horizon 5. What about you, Luke? What are you excited for?
Well, I see that one of my boys is in contention for Game of the Year.
Elden Ring.
And it is absolutely not Elden Ring, and it's not even up for it. It's in there for most anticipated game, which, I mean, I just kind of wanted to see that game crash and burn because I thought it'd be funny. Nothing against the Soul style. It's just like it was announced and then we heard nothing for years about Elden Ring. And I even equated it to Deep Down. I combined those into the same game. I don't know how it could have possibly happened, but yeah, my boys, Ratchet and Clank, are in contention for Game of the Year. But I will say compared to previous years, it does feel like Game of the Year is I wouldn't say they're in the heavyweight division right now. Like there are good games on there, but like you can tell like this is kind of one of the years that was heavily affected by COVID, where there's no like huge like expansive narrative experience game on there. Like we're not seeing those this year.
You know what? If I looked at this list and I said, if The Last of Us Part 2 won in this roster, I don't think people would be as upset.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, no, I can completely agree to that. Last of Us Part 2 versus this set, Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah. I mean, even just in its sort of ambition, right? Like it's just such an ambitious thing. But if you that's kind of honestly, if you remove, to me personally, okay, you had The Last of Us Part 2, but if you removed like Ghost of Tsushima and then Last of Us Part 2 won, like I would have been like, you know what, it wasn't my cup of tea, but I can definitely see that winning. But then it had like, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, like I actually went for like unironically going for Last of Us Part 2 for things sort of like like sound design and things like that, where it's just like I could definitely see that winning and I'd be fine with it. Because I like that's where a lot of that quality of that game is going to be, like fidelity and performance and sound design and all of that stuff. So because it's still very pretty game. Despite its contentious nature.
And outside of sort of like what it does wrong story-wise and narratively and game-wise, where you're letting people literally play a character that they are absolutely disgusted with, and not disgusted because of any of the trans stuff. Like that, I do not think that is I think that is the least of the issue. The more of the issue is that we love characters like Joel and Ellie, and then we get the character who killed Joel, and then you force us to play her. Fuck that. You know, like what did you expect, Naughty Dog? What did you expect?
That
is disgusting. That is not like, you can do that in film, or you can even do that in novels and stuff, and it'll be fine. But in a game, like it's almost it makes you feel like you're not comfortable in your own damn skin. Like that's gross. That is absolutely gross. But anyways, outside of elements like that, I mean, we are the UI guys. Their UI in The Last of Us Part 2 is pretty fucking crisp. It's pretty fucking good. Like all things considered, it's really good. Like almost everything around the story is pretty stellar. Like if I have to be fair. Yeah, it's pretty stellar. So if you put, I feel like in many ways they'd be punching down in this situation. If you had The Last of Us Part 2 this year, that would have been a great year for Last of Us Part 2 to win.
It really would have been.
Yep,
I agree.
It would have been
here you could see, like you're definitely seeing a lot of you see a lot of Ratchet and Clank in a lot of categories. You're seeing Psychonauts 2, you're seeing Deathloop. Pretty much any of the ones in Game of the Year you're seeing in a lot of categories. Honestly, like just looking at Game of the Year, I think with how things go, I think people will gravitate towards Resident Evil Village, because that seems like more towards the most type of game. Like that's what I'm expecting to win. I still think my boy of Ratchet and Clank is still like, I think they're still the underdog in that situation, despite like raving reviews, like a standout on the PS5, which admittedly isn't that difficult because it still doesn't have a very massive library due to COVID, and other factors. But it's like, it was a fantastic game, much like the PS3 and the PS4 before it. I got a PS5 for Ratchet and Clank. That's just how I roll. So I knew I was gonna play it. I knew I was gonna enjoy it, and I still my expectations were surpassed. Performances were fantastic. The game was gorgeous, and I was very, very happy with it.
Metroid Dread is looking pretty good too. Honestly,
Metroid Dread, yeah.
It does feel sort of a toss up. But I do think I'm sort of with Luke on this, where I do think Resident Evil Village will probably take the whole thing. It's either that, but I do feel a little bad because I do feel like Deathloop has been getting a lot of shit just because they show it in almost like it has almost the unfortunate reality of being hated because we never got the reveals that we wanted. It's not really, I don't think it's really truly being hated on the merit of its own game. I don't think so. Because I think that what they're trying to do with that game, I think that game does not get enough credit. Okay? It's not my kind of game. But to create a game like that, where it's not just you shooting people, but it's also you, for the most part, interacting, like this is the correct way to play, is to interact with the environment at a level like that. Like that engine has to be like complete. Like you would have to master that engine. That's very difficult. And I think because if Deathloop is as successful as people think, that is actually like industry breaking. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think
that is like
the largest hurdle
defining.
that Deathloop has had to come across, and is probably the reason it's a lot of flack. And I know about like the AI thing. People think the game is like too easy, even though it ramps up in difficulty. Like the easiest is still too easy. But like a lot of the flack I've heard from it is that even though it's familiar mechanics, the game wants you to play in a very specific way, which has not been how the developers. Let me get the developer name here real quick. Arcane. Their previous games, even though they have very similar sort of combat mechanics and weapon mechanics and things like that, their exploration was very wide and diverse, and you had all these different choices. And Deathloop is kind of like, we have that same sort of big world that you can interact with. It's not as big as their previous games, from what I hear, because it's more focused. But we want you to take a very specific path. And I think it's that clash of their previous player base not getting what they're used to, and kind of being punished for it in game for like being very slow and methodical and exploring around everywhere. And the game wants you to play really, really fast. And they never really sort of explain that to the audience. Like, sure, there were like trailers and things, and they were always very fast paced and like high action and things like that. And they've even explained the premise in trailers, but they never really explained sort of like the gameplay loop and how you're supposed to approach the game. And because of that, a lot of players have sort of there's been a disconnect between their sort of loyal fan base and even casual fans, because they weren't sure how the game was supposed to be played.
Yeah, but that's just honestly, I am one of maybe I'm the minority in this, but I do think that what they're trying to do with Deathloop, whether it's a sort of a betrayal to the fans or whatever, I think this is definitely good for the industry. Like, I still think
I think the system, is interesting. I just don't. I'm kind of in that same boat, and I haven't played it. I haven't played their previous games. This is all secondhand information for me, but it definitely feels like they got the system that they wanted, but they didn't really show it off as well as they could have in the game that they wanted to show off.
I mean,
So.
look, it's pretty difficult. Like a lot of the games that we have right now, like Spider-Man, and like a lot of these other games that you have like these AI, right?
Mhm.
I even made a tweet about this. Remember, where I was just like, well, if you learn anything about a game, it's that the game is like never truly, like the enemy is never truly dead. Right? It's never truly dead until they ragdoll.
Mhm.
They're never truly dead until they ragdoll. And that's sort of how the environments play. the way that Deathloop does it is that there's a lot of things that are contingent upon interactions with the environment, and that's fine because it's easy for you to create for the player character to interact for you to code the player character to interact with the environment. But to do it sort of like third person, and by third person like a third degree, where it's like, okay, if I shoot this thing, it's going to explode, and then people like the AI will respond to this in various degrees, like without it being like, like what is it called, like Left 4 Dead. When Left 4 Dead, like the enemy, like the any of the zombies get hit, like you smack them with, you press you right click and you're like smacking them. No matter what their animation is, they're going to like just go, like no matter what. And to create like that level of variation, and to create like to create AI that are responding to it as if they are player characters, that's difficult. Like just from a technical perspective, that is very, very difficult. That's very ambitious. Like the AI has to be something that it's I don't want to say anymore, but the fact that is, I think, insanely hard. And if Deathloop manages to do this, if they manage to do this well in their game, like this could be new grounds for the industry moving forward using that kind of engine. Because I know that they did use did they use Unreal Engine?
It's a safe bet. It's a safe bet.
It looks like Unreal Engine. Regardless, if it's not Unreal Engine, just the fact that they're able, because look at this, Unreal Engine 5, the fact that they can light objects now and have real time.
Their engine is Void Engine.
Void Engine, okay, which is it's not too far off. Void Engine, Crystal Tools, all of that stuff. A lot of them are sort of just like of variations of Unreal. But the fact that, let's say this, the fact that Unreal Engine manages to do that thing, like the nanite thing, where a lot of things have a lot of different polygons and everything. Not polygons. Shit, I was saying. Anyways, it has and then all it does is, because it is static, it just turns all of it into one object. Like that's amazing. And the thing is, the industry moving forward, like the industry cannot go backwards. They'll have to move forward from that point onwards. And I think Deathloop definitely does that. So the fact that the critics, because it's not really it's one of those situations where when The Last of Us Part 2 won, I was more on the side of the public, and the public is just like, wow, we really didn't like this game. It's like, yeah. I think the public's right. Deathloop is an example where I think for the most part the public is wrong. This is where I'm going to be kind of snooty and be like, I do think that they are wrong about like their approach on, or like how they're doing it. They're not wrong on their experience. Like they could be playing the game and they could be like, But let's face it. A lot of the people who are making a lot of clamor about Deathloop are also not the people who play Deathloop. So like that is always a difficult thing. Protoman said, stupid part is most of the games on the list I haven't played, so I can't vote for these games as a result. See, okay, this is the problem that I have. Like, look, when it comes to the Game Awards, like let's actually talk about something a little bit more niche on this. What do you think about the Game Awards as a format itself? Because
as
from last
format
year,
itself,
because
go ahead.
like in conjunction to what I said about last year, is that was a situation where it felt like the company, or it felt like Game Awards, it felt like it like they colluded with Naughty Dog. Like that's how it felt.
Yeah, it really did feel that way. Yeah,
it felt like a lot of it was just some sort of weird collusion. Like it's like, oh, they won how many things? They won what? Despite their competition. And last year was pretty stacked. Last year was pretty stacked. Like Animal Crossing was in there too, but man, did they gross like a stupid amount of sales. And that could be situational, but yeah.
Yeah, and every year, when the Game Awards come around, I think over the past couple of years I paid more attention just because I've been more online, more with kind of where it's relevant for me to talk about it. But mostly, like, like I've never given a single shit whatever award is given out by the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's never felt like it's a big deal to me. Like the only reason I feel like why most of the gaming populace watches the Game Awards is because we know there's going to be new reveals, there's going to be new trailers, and there's going to be announcements at the Game Awards. No one that is actually here for games cares a single shit about any of the awards. Like that's all industry people or like anything like that. That's all for people already there and for kind of to pat each other on the back, much like the Academy Awards and Grammys and all that kind of stuff. So it's really just it's and especially last year, it became more of a supplement for E3, where it was like, okay, well, Game Awards is now, we know it's a big announcement platform, and that's the only thing that people who are into games actually watch it for. It's not whatever tie-ins, whatever guests they get, whatever talking points they have, whatever awards are won. It's only, we just want to see what's getting announced. And that's really like, if they stop doing that, like they lose almost the entire population of just people who play games. They're done. They because there's no other reason for them to watch the Game Awards, because I don't feel anyone else really cares about the awards themselves.
I can definitely tell you who does care about the awards. The creators care about the awards.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think that's like, as somebody, and you know, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm taking this from the lens of a person who judges awards, who judges competitions, right? So my understanding of that might be a little bit different from yours, because I definitely think that the world needs a Game Awards. I definitely think that the world needs an Academy Awards. I think that the world definitely needs an Oscars. I definitely think that, you know, like they need a Hip Hop International. I definitely think that they need an Olympics. Like, I think that these things need to like these things serve a purpose, and they're better for those industries. Like I personally think, like, this is what I believe, right? Any of these gaming award shows, if they were gone, that would be a net negative for the community, for the industry of video games. Because from that point onwards, everything just becomes about sales. And if everything just becomes about sales, then why then companies are just going to rehash over and over and over and over and over, and you're going to be left with sort of like this, a lot of the Square Enix conundrums that we have right now, which is, why can't they do anything new? Why is this like this? Why is the system bad? Why is the story bad? Why is this like that? Blah 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 blah. Like, we're going to deal with a lot of those kinds of things. We're going to deal with things like Blizzard, who hasn't changed their you know, they fail to move their product in a sort of progressive way. And I don't mean progressive politically. I mean just the fact that it's moving forward, just advancing. Like, they're having a very, very difficult time with that. They're almost like staying rigid. But, you know, any sort of any sort of horizontal movement in the way that they're doing things is can be attributed as a risk to the company. So, you know, and rightly so. If McDonald's all of a sudden started selling chicken, then you know, that would be like a big question mark, right? So that's really where I am when it comes to a lot of this stand. Like, you know, there's sort of a balance to be played here, but I definitely think that the Game Awards has to be important. Like, I think that it has to be important. And the fact that you mentioned that the only reason why they're sort of out here, why we really care, is we're here for reveals. They know that. That's why they put reveals there. I'm not so mad about the fact that they're trying to keep it alive, because I think that the industry needs it. The industry needs,
like I'm not angered by it existing by any means, but it is just like if the reveals weren't there, they wouldn't get the gaming audience, and then they wouldn't get the advertisers, and then, you know, it would just kind of be like, oh well, I'm just going to do this little YouTube show, because then they wouldn't have the funding for it. So it's kind of like, it's a self-sustaining loop that they've sort of created for themselves. And like it's always nice that when actual hardworking developers get credit for stuff that they do. And that's not always going to, even for the Game Awards, that's not always going to be happening. It's going to be figureheads and things like that, and team leads, and not necessarily people like people in the trenches working on the game every day. So it's a little bit of I can't find the metaphor that I'm looking for. So it's not quite monkey's paw. Monkey's paw seems a little too harsh.
Yeah,
but it's not quite monkey's paw. I can't think of the metaphor that I want. But it's fine. It's fine. But it is very self-gratifying for the people that are involved, and especially last year when it definitely did feel like the collusion was going on between Naughty Dog and Game Awards, whether that was happening or not. It certainly felt that way. So it's kind of, would I just prefer, hey, slap some trailers online and then we're good? Yes. I'm also about that at E3. Like, slap some trailers online. I don't need a big performance. I don't need a big whole 2-hour, here's a trailer, here's me talking, here's a trailer, here's me talking. But that's not for me. That's for investors. That's for the rest of the industry itself. And it is what it is. And
well,
at the end of the day, it doesn't negatively affect me. But I wish I didn't have to go through the song and dance for just put up the trailer. Just put up the trailer. That's all I need.
Yeah, but that's my problem with it, is that I do think that. I am not, and you guys can lambast me for this opinion all you want, but I do not think that a purely market-driven industry, like, as in, when I say market, like, I'm talking about people. I'm talking about people buying the game. I don't think that market is good for the industry. And I don't think it can advance the industry. I think in order for you to do that, you would need things like critical appeal. You would need things like critics to talk about it. You would need people who are actually going into this. This is one of the reasons why. It's funny because was it who was it? It was Protoman? Protoman, yes. So I think I'm actually with Protoman on this point. Ritual, hello, by the way. I'm so happy to see you here. Join in on the conversation. So when Protoman said, "Oh, I can't even vote on these things because a lot of the games I don't even play." This is the problem, right? So the problem is that if everybody is voting on this, let's say how a lot of, because this was a very very big talking point, or this was something. I'm glad that people were mad. There are a lot of people who don't like that. There are a lot of people who are just like, why are you guys mad about the Game Awards? Why are you guys mad that The Last of Us Part 2 won? Like, guys, just shut the fuck up. Just don't watch it, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that is the case. I think that things like this are supposed to matter to us in general, like the community and in the industry. Because it's one place where the community and industry can sort of share ground. And that's very important. That's very important because... and a lot of people were saying last year that, this should just be more of like a popular vote, which I'm against. I do not.
I'm also against.
I don't think that just because the majority were right about The Last of Us Part 2, it doesn't. It's that's sort of, to me, the exception, not the rule. Because people will only be able to say something about the things that they actually bought or play. And when it's weird, like right now. So look at the nominations, right? Look at all the nominees. I'm going to vote for the nominee that I've played and I enjoyed. But that's not fair to the other ones that are in contention because I have not played them or watched them or anything. So it's not actually fair to them, right? It's not fair. It is not fair. It's almost like this, because I hate this as a judge. I hate this when people go, "Oh, that team should have won. Like, this team definitely should have won." And the other ones, like, Team A should have won. And the other person goes, "No, Team B should have won." And then you ask the person who voted for Team A's, like, "Have you watched Team B?" And they're like, "No, but Team A should have won." It's like, how can you like honestly make that determination without knowing the other side. It's almost like this. It's like I think I've made this example before. If it's just like you and I were arguing, Luke, you and I were arguing, and I'm going, and then somebody goes, "Oh no, I'm definitely like Crane won that argument." And then you ask that person, "Did you listen to Luke's argument?" And they go, "No." It's like, then how can you know, right? Like how can you truly how can you truly do that? And this is the problem that you have with everybody who's voting for the nominees. Like you go to that website, you know for a fact that majority of these people did not play all those games. In fact, people can vote in this who've never played any of the games.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a prerequisite for them, like to play the games is not a prerequisite. Now, so who can you trust in that situation, right? This is the reason why judges are kind of important. Like in my world, which is sort of the dance world, judges are important. Judges are important. Like, because they are the ones who we give the job of, you should know this, so we trust you because you should know this. Now, do we expect people to know this? No, because they have other things to do. Their job is to just play, right? Their job is to just play, and like their job is not even to be critical of the games. That's what critics are for, right? That's the reason. That's the only reason why they can be a thing. It's the reason why we even have a word for them. They're critics, and that is the most important thing. It's like food critics. The only reason why we need them is sort of for that purpose, right? It's a little bit more difficult when it comes to things like games, because in the world of dance, like it's a little bit easier because you would have to be a dancer. You would at the very least, have been a dancer to judge dance, right? Now, the critics, do they necessarily need to be game creators? That we know that doesn't have to be the case, because we know that there are a lot of people, like for example, the content creators that we like people like Mr. Happy and Night Sky Prince and all of those stuff. They have never made a game in their lives, but it doesn't mean that they can't critique the shit out of a game. Because part of the reason why we like them so much is because they really know how to go in on these games, and they tend to see critics tend to see what you're hoping in a critic is somebody who can see things in a lens that even the game creators might be blinded by, or blinded like have like a blind spot, right? And even players, even normal players. That's the reason why normal players, we give a fuck about all of these content creators, because we chose them because we feel like they say things that we did not realize until they said it. So then what now becomes the format, right? That's kind of the big question. In dance, it's almost always, we have judges. We have like a panel of experts. And like, again, in fairness, in dance, it might be a little bit simpler. It might be a little bit easier, right? But how do you do that for games? Like how?
Yeah, well, for the Game Awards specifically, they have a nebulous jury that decides 90% of the vote, and then we have a popular vote determines 10%. So popular vote, which is all like website polls and things like that. So obviously, it's popular vote is not enough to determine a winner, but if it's close and the popular vote is swaying one way or another, then there are isolated situations where they could sway the winner, according to what we have been told.
Well, I think where my particular problem lies in the fact that games are games. They're meant to be enjoyed by the populace. That's like their whole point for existing. So the populace vote should, in fact, just be the only determining factor. How do you determine what's game of the year if not people enjoyed that?
Well, that would depend on criteria. See, that's the thing. I think one of the problems that game of the year is the term game of the year is actually really, 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 really contentious, because we don't know exactly what are like the criteria or the aspects that it is being judged upon. So when you say best soundtrack, even though there's many ways that two soundtracks can be very, very good, they could be 10 out of 10, but at the same time, like, you know, it might they're still different, right? It's almost like genres. Oh, go ahead.
Well, when it comes to things like best soundtrack, if they brought in and the judges were in fact people who work on soundtracks or something of that such, you know, I would understand that. But when it comes to literally game of the year, it's that one specifically that's the only one that bothers me.
But
judges in any category, I understand. But game of the year is not as defined as, oh, well, I'm a professional at games of the year.
Well, see, that's what. So this is what I'm thinking. All right, this is sort of like how I'm looking at it. What you need to do for something like a games award, right, is that you need to break a game down into its multiple parts, right, like things that are really important. And the thing is, you can be wrong about the things that are important. That's fine. But the thing is, it doesn't matter. You have to have a criteria. Doesn't matter, even if the criteria is wrong, because even if the criteria was wrong, us, the people, we're far more sympathetic about that, because we can just be like, oh well, we just disagree on the criteria. But let me finish the thought. So what's going to happen is that you have like let's say soundtrack, let's say sound design, let's say direction, let's say this, which Game Awards has, right? You put a lot of these games that are in contention for those things. And then have them sort of like where they line up, right? You'd have to create like maybe like a grading system or number system, anything that puts them in that running. The game of the year would have to score an accumulative point that is reflected by their score, like their collective score in those different criteria. That would just kind of have to be like the case.
I would accept it in that if that was it, if that's how they did it, if they were like, hey, well, game of the year goes to the game that got the most awards this year, I would accept it.
Well, not necessarily the most awards. So hear me out.
I understood what you meant.
Yeah.
I was just saying in alternative, like,
yeah.
I would get it that way.
Yeah, well, just for the audience, this is kind of what I mean. It's like, because a lot of people think this is like, oh, why didn't this game win when it won when it won soundtrack of the year and game direction of the year and blah 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 blah. It's like, yeah, they might win on those categories, but let's say, what if they're poor in others, like so poor in others that, you know, like let's say The Last of Us. Remember, they won a lot of prizes that year, and I think in many ways a lot of those prizes were either fair, or I can see that, or yeah, they definitely won that, right? Like that. Like, for example, story direction for The Last of Us Part 2. Definitely good. Definitely up there. If you're telling me that it won for story direction, yes. If you're telling me it won for writing, no. Does it make sense? Because writing and story direction are not the same thing. Like how something is being directed and what the story is are completely two different things. This is the reason why, like, I've famously always defend Michael Bay. Because people are just like, man, Michael Bay sucks as a director. No. He sucks as he's good as a director. He sucks as a writer. That's why you should never have him write. Like, it's just
like have him coordinate an action scene. Maybe not with 7 gray robots, because then it will be just kind of a mess. But he is very good at what he enjoys filming, which is explosions.
Yeah, well, not even just
the man
that.
can film in explosions.
Like the way he directs a lot of the photography, like where the shots come from, like where things pan and all of that stuff. That's actually he's actually quite good. He's actually quite good as a director. It's just that people are just like, man, but the movie, like, this has this moment and this moment's like this, and you know, in a way, you can sort of blame him for that.
How much ass I can kick?
Yeah, in a way, I know how much ass you can.
And
kick.
I do.
Yeah,
but like you, I do praise him for, you know, actually dumping billions of dollars into the franchise. So
yeah,
like, because that's just like an inarguable fact that his movies made dump truck loads of money for the franchise.
Oh, and speaking of dump loads of
dump loads,
it's sorry, I know this went all the way into like us talking about Michael Bay, but you know, explosions are one of the hardest things in the movie industry to direct. So That's it's the reason why he makes the big bucks. It's just what it is. When people are just like, all he does, like when people what is that? Reduce what he does, what he says, when they're just like, oh yeah, you know, like all he does is explosions. It's like, do you know what happens when explosions are not done properly? When you need more than like fucking 3 takes of fucking explosions, that shit gets expensive. Movies, like that's the reason why people are willing to dump money on him. They're like, yeah, you want to, like, what do you need? An airplane? You need an airplane? We'll give you an airplane. He's like, yeah, I need an airplane. I need a jumbo jet. I'm gonna explode it. Okay, cool. Who's asking? Who the fuck is asking for an airplane? Christopher Nolan? Nah, fuck that. Give him CGI. Who's asking for an airplane? Michael Bay. Oh, all right, give it to him. Like that matters. That matters. But so again, you know, he has done some pretty bad movies. Good directors can do bad movies. That is definitely a fact. That is definitely a fact. People are just like, what about Steven Spielberg? He's like, no, like let's not go down to that filmography, because he's definitely done some bad movies. Definitely done some bad movies. It's just that they're overshadowed by the good ones. But yeah, it's just what it is. But yeah, but again, depending on the categories or the criteria, that would really heavily determine what that is. I don't know. I think that one of the biggest problems that I think all of us are having with the Game Awards is that they just, much like anything, there's not really a lot of transparency that is going on with the Game Awards. It's either that or maybe all of this, maybe we're all wrong. Maybe we're just flat out wrong. What if in their website or whatever, they actually do post up all of the rules and all the criteria and which ones who can become candidates or who is eligible for those for nomination and how they're being nominated and all that stuff. What if that was the case? And yeah, I know you can prove me wrong right now, but just by looking at it. But what if that was the case? But nobody knows it, because all we do is watch the video, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that behind the curtain nothing is happening. So, yes, correct.
I was just gonna say, most websites really do list all that stuff on their website.
Yeah,
so we could probably just go look. But
yeah, that's probably
then we
true.
wouldn't have discussion
on it, right? I want to read what Omid said. Omid said, in my view, I feel like award wording and history with the individual awards and politics to each collective has gotten so niche that it's harder to make an award feel justified to any one game. Michael Bay is the most frat boy writer, but he's got those director chops. That's true. You know, like,
I mean, I still question, did he need so many scenes of dogs humping? I question that a lot.
Oh, well.
Did it add anything? Did it add humor? It did not add humor.
But was it edgy? I love it.
No, it really wasn't. It was.
It lets Luke make a joke on Cranefreeze.
Yeah, it's like, did we really need? First off, did we need more than one scene of dogs humping?
Yes.
Did we really need any scene of dogs humping?
Yes, we do, because it's content.
Because even I will say, Sam's mom getting hopped up on hash brownies, that one made me chuckle. Like, that one was funny. Did need to be there? No, but I did find that one funny. But the dogs humping and the multiple scenes of dogs humping, you should probably get your fetish out of the movie there, Bay. Probably.
Oh yes. By the way, saying hi to Alchemic. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to say something completely off topic, but I just scrolled past a post on Twitter. Somebody's hosting a Sora only Smash tournament.
No,
I didn't know those existed. A character specific tournament.
I mean, that's existed since Melee. Fox v Fox, no items, Final Destination. That's existed since the early days.
Oh, I knew Tigers was just gonna come out of the woodwork and be like, "What? Sora only?"
That is interesting.
Omid said, "I enjoy."
But I will.
I enjoy. He said, "I enjoy thinking about how specific can you make an award before it's too specific to the point where it has no meaning." Well, I mean, it doesn't. Okay. because I have judged a lot of competitions, and we are talking about things like art, because to me games are art, right? It's to me,
Sure, absolutely.
to me it's like a confluence of all art is games nowadays, right? That's why I love video games. I love video games because it is the epicenter of the glorious revolution of our art. But I don't know why I turned into Arnold halfway through that. But it's definitely the thing. It's definitely the media that sort of where all the other art forms get to ride. It's the one bus that they all get to ride, and I think that's really, really quite important. But I've always been of the opinion that when people say that art is subjective, I think that art is actually more objective than it is subjective. It's just that when you get down to the nitty gritty, then all of a sudden it sounds much, much more objective. But then as you go out, then you sort of have this combinatorial explosion, and when that happens, things get it becomes too big, too wide of a level of analysis for us to really clamp down. This is and the thing is, critics are supposed to be the people who spend their time. They probably go to school. I don't know, but they're the people that we assign in society to try to figure the answer to that stuff. And hello, Yozora. I know I did see that you're back again. I'm surprised you didn't go use the senpai notice me, because that's still there. The redeems are still there. Who is the true owner of the Keyblade?
Well, Rain, this is all very lovely, but maybe it's time for chat games.
Oh shit! Okay.
Oh shit!
I mean, you can finish your thought, but I'm just saying, we've gone on about the Game Awards for a good bit now.
Yeah, but it's a good discussion though. It's a good discussion because it speaks to the topic. It speaks to the heart of the issue. And here in Cranefreeze, even though we're all joking around and shit, I'm definitely all about that. So we're gonna probably have one game. We didn't have a lot of games because we had to cover up a lot of news.
There was so much news.
There's so much news.
There's a lot of news.
But don't worry, we still have Friday. So today we're gonna play a new game. I'm gonna introduce a new game for you guys today, since we have
new game.
A pretty good chat here. We're going to play Hypertension. Welcome to Hypertension. We're here with this tier maker template, and we're going to play Hypertension. So, it's going to be a top 10. Yes, it is a tier maker. We were talking about the games we were talking about the games of the year. And Protoman's like, nope, I'm out. Oh, Lord. All right, so what's going to happen is that we are going to give the subject. You are the ones who are going to give us the list, the nominations, and then we, the boys, we're going to be the ones to argue about which goes where. So you just give your top. So you don't even need to think about your top 10. Just you can even think about your top. But if you have more than one, then that makes it easy. Okay, so the question today, since we're talking about the Game Awards, is what do you think should be Game of the Year? What do you think?
2021 specific 2021 Game of the Year.
Specific Game of the Year. So you can follow what Game Awards is doing, or you can just pick as long as it's a game that's in 2021. It could be a game that it could be a game that came out yesterday, like Ruin King.
Like Super Robot Wars 30. But we don't get to pick. We don't get to pick.
You have to pick. So, guys, give it to us.
I don't like your plan. It sucks.
Give it to us. Let us know.
Just start listing games in chat.
Start
please.
listing games. What do you think? Do you guys really think that
what are your personal games of the year?
Yep. Games
2021
came out 2021. Well, it's I think it's supposed to be games. Well, according to Game Awards, it's actually games that came out in fall of 2020.
Yeah, because they have a cutoff date between last
Yeah.
Game Awards and
Yeah, so
yeah.
fall and summer. So it's fall of last year and summer of this year. But then for us, we can follow that. Do you want to follow that, or do you want to go straight up like? Okay, you know what? Let's do fall of last year, all the way up to present.
To today.
To today.
All right, so we definitely have Rift Apart from Alchemic Waking.
Okay, so we have Rift Apart. Okay, I need to put this down.
When did Miles Morales come out? I think that's too early.
What is it? What is it? Ratchet and Clank?
I mean, I don't think anyone's mentioned Ratchet and Clank. Do we want to put the Game Awards games up there?
Oh, well, Alchemic said Rift Apart.
Oh, Rift Apart. Right. The Ratchet and Clank subtitle. I totally blanked on that.
Yeah,
I was thinking it was a different game.
No, that's definitely the.
All right, so yeah, we got Ratchet and Clank up there.
Okay, so we have
Haraxmant is null and void.
Oh man. Hey man, if we don't get 10 entries, my entry better be on the list.
Okay.
Oh, well, if we don't get 10 entries, then yeah, then we can start talking about it. Then we'll see how many entries we have left and we can divide them up evenly.
Oh, what else are people saying? You gotta tell me, because I'm typing them.
Yeah, let's
said Returnal? No?
Returnal? Yeah, Tigress mentioned, or Omet mentioned Returnal.
Okay, Returnal.
We can throw Returnal on there.
Okay, so Returnal.
I'm checking the date on Miles Morales.
Rune King.
Metroid Dread. Okay, Metroid Dread.
Metroid Dread, that's definitely in there.
Okay, Metroid.
It came out November 2020. November 12th, 2020. We could include Miles Morales.
It's kind of funny because the Game of the Year list is just ending up being the actual Game of the Year list. Someone named Metroid Dread, someone named Rift Apart.
If that is what it is, then it is what it is. What else? Who else said? Final Fantasy 26. Lol. What else? You got to read this out to me, because I can't read and type this at the same time.
Oh, so you're saying Miles Morales is not a real recommendation for you, Tigress?
So I don't know. Omen said Returnal.
Returnal's on there.
Okay, Returnal is on here.
Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise is definitely in that window. That came out this year.
Yeah, Monster Hunter Rises. Yeah, so
Replicant.
Replicant. Okay. Near Replicant. Okay. Near Replicant. Is Keshin still here? He might vote for that one.
Yeah.
He might definitely.
But yeah, we can definitely have Monster Hunter Rise on there. That's
so
definitely within
Monster
the
Hunter
criteria.
Rise? Do I add it? Monster Hunter Rise? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. And then how many are we at? Good man.
Let's see. I have I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5.
5. We have 5 slots left, chat.
There's a lot. You got Back for Blood, Guardians of the Galaxy, Resident Evil Village, Far Cry 6.
Look,
Mobile Wars 30.
Mobile games, PC games, any games, literally any games. As long as they're not board games.
Chat.
As long as they're not board games or fucking.
We have Cyberpunk.
Was that this year?
Yeah, technically. It is. Cyberpunk is technically this year, yes. It could be indie games too.
Yes, of course.
You got Valheim.
So I put looking at the chat, I saw Rift Apart, I saw Returnal. You guys can what do you call that? Give more than one, obviously. Metroid Dread.
New Pokemon Snap. Hot Wheels Unleashed.
Moment of silence for
Tales of Arise.
Tales of Arise would be a good nomination.
Tales of Arise is a good one.
Unfortunately, cannot say Final Fantasy 14 and Walker.
No, you cannot.
Endwalker specifically. Doesn't work.
Specifically Endwalker.
Pokemon Unite. Did that come out this year?
Yeah,
No.
it did.
Oh, Pokemon
yeah,
Unite
yeah.
did come out this year. Yeah. So, but it has to come from chat, though. It has to come from chat.
It has to come
I'm
from
just
chat.
listing. Chat can take any of these suggestions.
Yeah, like where he's just telling you which ones are available or which ones do meet the cut. Let's see if our janky asses can do it too.
Oh,
Cyberpunk.
there's SMT5,
Wasabi,
New
Wasabi
World,
got it.
and
Wasabi got it.
Cyberpunk.
Wabi Sabi. Sorry,
Yeah.
Wabi Sabi got it.
I think even Wild Rift can be named.
Wild
here.
Rift, I think is
it came
also Wild Rift is New World is okay. So
yeah.
So Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we actually got Cyberpunk in there and New World. So I think that brings us up to 8. 2 more, chat. 2 more, then we go in on this top 10 list.
Samurai Warriors 5 came out this year. No one talked. Oh, the Pixel remaster. So Final Fantasy 1 through 6.
Diablo 2 remastered and Back for Blood. I think that's 10.
Okay, so so what was it? New World? Are we adding New World?
New World.
Okay, New World.
So
New World.
Diablo 2 remastered.
Diablo. Oh, well, that actually did come out?
That came out.
Oh, why am I not playing it? Okay. Why
It's
am I not playing it?
Cranefreeze.
True. Cranefreeze is more important anyways. I already know all the secrets in that game. So what is it? Diablo 2?
Yeah, Diablo 2 remastered, and then I think our last one is Back for Blood.
Remastered and then Back for Blood. Okay.
Which I think gives us 10.
Y'all not going to count NASCAR 21 Ignition?
No. I'm biased though. Oh, well, okay. So, which one am I missing? I have Diablo 2, New World, Shin Megami Tensei, Monster Hunter Rise, Nier Replicant, Metroid Dread, Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank. I'm missing something.
Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was in that gap. Yeah.
Super Robot Wars 30.
Did someone put that in or no? Because
no. Cyberpunk. First off, no. Secondly, Cyberpunk was in
2077.
Yeah.
Okay, Cyberpunk.
And it was the. Please. Oh, there's Keshin. There he is.
Yakuza. Okay, okay, so that's it. That's why you guys had to.
You guys had to pick and get in there quick.
Okay, send me this list too, Crane.
Well, okay,
just so I can visualize it.
Okay, well, it's right here on my screen right now. So, because I'm actually put it so that we can, because I'm going to actually like place them. So number 1 there is the top. Okay, just remember that number 1 is the top. 10 is the last. So.
Oh, this is a very anti-me list.
Yep, there it is. All right, guys. All right, so these are the ones that you picked. The content that you guys picked is, in no particular order yet, Cyberpunk 2077. All right, you guys made me laugh already. Diablo 2 Remastered, New World, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Monster Hunter Rise, Nier Replicant, Metroid Dread, Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank. All right, go.
Monster Hunter Rise is spelled with a Z, spelled with a Z.
Is it really?
It is.
For real?
Yeah.
Rise?
I think my favorite part of this list is that Metroid Dread is not
Metroid Dread is not capitalized, but Nier Replicant is correctly capitalized.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Crane, your fanboy is showing.
My fanboy? You mean my good taste? Yeah. Definitely my good taste is showing. Okay. Rise is not with a Z. Boom. It is not with a Z, bro. I think you did that on purpose. Which I will give a big fuck you to. Replicant. Oops. All right. So, where are we at with number 1 with this? Where are we with number 1? Because looking at this list, I wouldn't pick any of this.
It's what we got.
It's what, but we have to work with what we got. Okay. All right.
No, yep. Okay, this is how the game works. If I have to nominate something for number one,
Yes.
right? Should we work backwards?
Let's
I
let's
think
work
working backwards is a little bit easier.
Let's do that. Okay, which one is the worst game in this?
I think that unfortunately, like last place is probably going to be Cyberpunk or New World because they've had the most issues.
Yeah, I'm to vote Cyberpunk down there.
I think Cyberpunk at least had like a better premise than New World in my mind. So
I would probably also put Cyberpunk 9 New World 10.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm also leaning.
Well, mainly
Yeah.
because New World was such a disaster on launch. And
Yeah,
by the way,
and
for
still
for
is.
MM,
And still is.
for an MMO, for an MMO, that is like death. So
Mhm.
that's death. Okay, so all right, so we're gonna put New World at 10. Shit. Spicy content. We're gonna put Cyberpunk as 9. Cyberpunk is going to 9. Well, okay. Okay,
That'll teach you developers. You've only hit 10 and 9 of our top 10 games of the year. Oh boy.
Damn, everyone's
Okay.
like, "Oh, rip New World." Okay.
Who here knows Returnal? Because I don't.
I know it's essentially a 3D roguelike game.
Yeah, it's a roguelike. So it's a long Shadowleaf really clipped it. Wow. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, your crane bias is definitely showing how much you hate me. But it's all right. All right. So, God.
So from what I've heard of
Internet guy,
Returnal,
cringe.
it actually it didn't have a lot of staying power, but it did successfully, like, people did enjoy it. I didn't hear very many bad things about Returnal. But it was also like people played it for a day or two and then it completely dropped off.
Okay, because I definitely think personally, like, I'm not even a big fan of the Metroid series, but I do think that Metroid Dread, from what I watched, it looked pretty fucking good.
I would agree.
It looked really good. It looked really good. Okay, so all right, let's put Returnal there then, number 8
for now. For now,
because we can argue about where it should be.
Absolutely, like, just because we place these now doesn't mean that these are their final spots, except for the last two.
Probably be the easiest way to do it. Just put them in a spot and then argue about why.
So okay, all right. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna put like what I think these things should be, and then you guys can argue.
All right,
with me.
I like that.
Okay,
I like that.
Okay. Then you guys can argue with me. That's fine. All right. I think I prefer Returnal over Diablo, just because Diablo is just a rehash of an old thing. You know,
that's fair.
So in my mind, it's not even technically a new game. You know, like it's
that's fair.
And Returnal is like they're both roguelikes. I think after that I will definitely put
Now it gets a little bit harder because Diablo 2 was probably also going to be lower for me. Because I don't have a lot of experience with the franchise. I know it had issues.
Where's the 10th? There's one more thing that I missed. Because this is only 9, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's only one. There's one more.
We had everything.
Yeah, no.
All right. Let's see. Let's scroll up and
I'm scrolling up too.
Take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was probably said. Oh, I've gone too far. I've hit the railroad tracks.
Oh, Back for Blood. Back for Blood is the thing I missed.
Back for Blood was the
thing I missed. Okay, there we go.
Right.
Okay, what is Back for Blood? I've seen
it is Left 4 Dead made by the former Left 4 Dead developers. They left, made their own company, and then made a new Left 4 Dead because Valve wasn't.
Oh man.
Yeah. Valve was like, oh, they couldn't use Left 4 Dead's title because they don't own it. So Back for Blood.
Oh, that's cool. That's kind of like Riot Games in League of Legends, because a lot of the people who created League of Legends were people who worked on Dota.
Yeah. No, I saw that come out, and because it reminded me of another one. I forgot what it was, but it was another company that broke away because the base company wasn't making that game anymore. And they're just like, well, we want to keep making it. So they broke off and made a new version of it.
Okay.
And that immediately popped in my head when Back for Blood was announced.
Okay. So I think that
Now, I will say there was controversy for Back for Blood, where like you're almost completely can't make single player progress. Like there's unlockables and things like that, but you can only really get it realistically playing multiplayer. And understand that is a multiplayer focused game, but when they really like stranglehold you, it's like, well, what if I just want to play this game on my own time? I can't get my friends together, and they're like, fuck off. So that's fair. When they start restricting you like that lowers the game for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna put Back for Blood here because I don't know too much about it, and you're pretty much selling me on that. I will put I would put Near Replicant around here.
I'm curious where you are going to place it.
It's great.
I'm just gonna let him go.
It's great and all, but I do think that when it comes to Near Replicant, it is sort of a rehash of an old thing too.
It is a remake.
But it is better. But so for me, I actually think that Near Replicant is better than the like it aged
than the
much.
remaster.
It aged much better than Diablo 2. And this was like an actual remaster, a remake almost. In that vein, I will throw. I think I'll put Shin Megami right here. I'll put Shin Megami here because it's an RPG and all of that stuff. I think Monster Hunter Rise has a much stronger, longevity. And it's a Switch game, isn't it?
It is a Switch game. It is a Switch-only game.
Yes. I'm a little biased then. I don't own I kind of own a Switch. I'm going to put...
How do you kind of own a Switch?
I only own half of it. Anyways, when the person who owns it leaves it at home, then I own it. Yeah. Big boy Persona. Yeah, it's adult Persona. Rise is releasing on PC in 58 days. Okay, that's good. So if that's okay. Now this is where I'm sort of like, ooh, because I definitely do think that these two games are worth the top. I think, man.
You know what you have to do.
What?
You know what you have to do. You know it's going to end up at number 1 anyway, so you might as well just put it there.
I'm gonna put Ratchet and Clank up top.
Yeah, that's what
do it.
Luke here.
Okay,
I was gonna say do it for Alchemic. She's the one that requested it.
Oh yeah, no, Alchemic. Alchemic makes it like an amazing rivet. By the way.
No,
I believe it.
Okay, so there. This is my list. This is where I put everything. What here gives you hypertension? What here?
I personally think Monster Hunter Rise is just a little too high. Maybe one spot too high.
I'm like, that's kind of where I'm at, where Rise, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Near Replicant, I feel like those three are probably going to should be shuffled around. I think it might just be, maybe. Yeah, I think I might go Replicant, Rise, Shin Megami Tensei.
Okay,
but yeah, I think Replicant was probably be.
What is everyone? Everyone's like, boo, wow, rude. No, wait, for what? For what? Which one did I get wrong? Huh? Which one did I get wrong?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if it's
They think that Rise should be higher. Is that what they think? Oh, B's here too. What did I miss?
Hi, B.
We're playing Hypertension right now.
Oh, I notoriously dislike Monster Hunter, so.
There's your thing. Rise is totally deserving of number 3. See, that's what I thought too. I thought that Monster Hunter, I like just looking at this list. I thought that Monster Hunter would be up here. This is where I think Monster Hunter Rise should be. But you guys think
think like it's good for what it does on the Switch, but World is superior in virtually every aspect.
It says, don't be rude to Monster Hunter. You're biased. I am. This is an opinion ranking.
It is. I love how Karoy just swerved in here and he's just like, no, Monster Hunter is definitely in the right place, in my opinion. Okay. So, because guys, what you're looking at right now, what you guys are looking at right now, this is just my ranking, how I would rank these games. This is just me ranking how I would rank these games. Now, the other two boys need to weigh in on this before we call it a night. So, this game is actually more fun than I thought it would be.
Yeah, because here's where we get to the nitty gritty. So, like 6 to 10, I have no investment. I have absolutely zero investment.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Maybe like Returnal or Back 4 Blood could be switched depending on the person, but Back 4 Blood being higher is probably the correct choice. I know Metroid Dread. This is skipping around, but it is. I know a lot of Metroid fans are very, very happy with Dread. It is the kind of game that they really wanted to see again. I think it was made by the same people that did the Strider game back in 2014, which a lot of people really enjoyed, and this has a lot of shades of that.
And it looks good.
Especially,
it looks very good.
It looks really good. It plays good. I've heard nothing but fantastic reception for Metroid Dread. Same thing with Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, well, that's the reason why I put Metroid and Ratchet, because I feel like that's just when the cutoff between Monster Hunter Rise, like number 3 and then 2 and 1, I feel like the gap between 1, 2, and 3 is big. Like I think that there's a big gap, like in the middle of that.
I would agree.
Well, and it's not even just because it's not because I hate the game. It's not because I hate like Monster Hunter Rise. It's just that I think Metroid and Ratchet and Clank are much higher on the production than everything else on this list. Like literally everything else on this list. Cyberpunk is supposed to be of that magnitude,
quality,
but it fell so far from grace.
It fell so hard.
Yeah, same thing with New World. I think that's the reason why New World and Cyberpunk are all the way down there, because for me, Shin Megami Tensei, Nier Replicant, and Back 4 Blood, I feel like they shot for a number and they hit it. That's what I feel. And I feel like them shooting for that number and hitting it is better. I think the reason why I put number 3 for Monster Hunter Rise is because I think Monster Hunter Rise shot for a level and went beyond. That's the only reason why I put it at 3.
Fair. I would agree. I can give you that one. Because I'm a little bit... Actually, you know what? Because I know there's some conflict for Shin Megami Tensei 5 because its story is kind of... It has some stumbling points, and a lot of it is crammed in at the very back end of the game. But like the gameplay is really solid, the music's very solid, the feel is very solid. So, which actually mimics a lot of points of Nier Replicant, where it's like the feel's really solid, the atmosphere is really solid, but it is a remake. So that's kind of like, now I'm kind of like on board for Rise because it actually did a really solid like job doing Monster Hunter on the Switch. Like what it's accomplished on the Switch is actually very, very impressive. So, and I think the only thing that's like really affecting my Nier and SMT5 is just lack of experience with either of those two games at the minute. So it's hard to compare the two directly.
Oh, that is fair.
Devastation.
That is fair.
And I feel Ratchet and Metroid are actually very similar slots because the previous Ratchet game was the movie tie-in game, which, while mechanically solid, was lacking in sort of the very dynamic storytelling that came with Ratchet and Clank games for a while. They kind of lost their way for a bit in the like PS3, PS4 era, the later PS3, PS4 era. But then they got back on course, and then they had the movie game, the game was much better than the actual movie because the game actually reframes the entire movie as in, oh yeah, it's the events of the first game, but told from Quark's perspective. So it's like, all right, well, that can explain why things don't quite match up or why certain characters are more important or what have you. So because of that, Ratchet and Metroid Dread feel like they fill a very similar gap where it's just like, it's a good return to form for people that play these two games. And both succeed dramatically in what they're aiming for. But this is me trying to be as unbiased as possible, because I'm not very invested in the Metroid Dread franchise, the Metroid franchise. But I would still place Ratchet and Clank higher, if only because its production quality is still much higher than Metroid Dread.
So, I have a problem with this list. And I'm like, something about this list makes me uneasy, right? There's got to be a tweak I can make to make this sit more comfortably with me. And I now realize what the problem I have with this list is. I've only played one game on this list, and I didn't buy it after I played the beta, and that was Back for Blood. So and I was like, okay, so maybe Back for Blood should be higher. It was really fun. I just didn't buy it, so maybe it shouldn't be higher. And I was like, I can't argue it should be higher than Nier Replicant, though. I know how glorious that game is. You know, so I'm looking at a list of games that I don't particularly like either way, so I shouldn't have any opinion on this list. You know, because it's the Crane logic of, well, I haven't played it, I shouldn't say something is better or worse than it. You know,
I mean, but we have no choice but to. So
yeah. So I'm like, okay. I know enough outside of gameplay. Now I'm judging them based on how they look, because that's all I know.
Well, I think I'm extra generous when it comes to Nier Replicant, only because, and this is for me, all right? The reason why I put Nier Replicant all the way up there is because Nier Replicant, this is an old game. But the thing is, this game, for its time, to me, was a little bit too advanced for its time. So when they sort of remastered it, it's almost like it belongs alongside sort of like the automatas of the world, if that makes sense. Like it should be there. Like that's what it's almost like back in the day. That's what they imagined it to be. It's just that it you know, like
to be.
But yeah, I'm just here to be supportive with my popcorn. Of course you are, P. I mean, it definitely plays much older games.
That's why we love you, B. That's why we love you.
It's why we love you, B. That's why
I don't play older games. Like I said in chat, I play a game that dropped yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I'm sad because games like Ruin King isn't in here.
Well, we didn't get to pick. We did
not get to pick. We did not get to pick. I would definitely put Ruin King in here. Ruin Game.
Ruin Game.
No, Ruin Game is here. It's right there. New World. Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I thought everyone was gonna flame me for putting New World all the way down there, but you know that's what I feel in my heart.
I didn't like New World before it even dropped. The premise of an MMO without races and without classes made me extremely uncomfortable. I wanted nothing to do with it.
It if you say that, it kind of feels like a Sims game, doesn't it? In a way. But anyways,
well,
right.
A lot of people compare it, like their New World's positive aspects to RuneScape. Like old school RuneScape, where it's just like, yeah, if you don't want to like be super invested in the PvP or anything like that, or like the story questing or anything like that, the good parts are just like, all right, well, I just want to go out and work on like my axe wielding skill, or I want to work on my gathering skill. And that's the kind of thing that makes the serotonin pops in people's brains. Is that kind of like RuneScape esque? It's like, I just want to go get better at this skill. I just want to go do that.
I'm surprised.
And that's been like the one redeeming quality for New World.
I think that the one redeeming quality of New World is that New World helps cement Final Fantasy XIV as the best MMO of the year.
It certainly doesn't hurt it now, does it?
Debatable.
No.
Debatable.
No, it's definitely because remember, one reason why New World was exploded so fast was because everybody was looking for a game outside of 14 to like an MMO to play outside of 14. When Blizzard, when World of Warcraft was experiencing its long
when it was shitting the bed,
and but yeah, that's what it is. Oh, bye Shadowleaf. But yeah,
bye Shaylee. I mean, honestly,
does the list look good though? Are there any things that we should change about the list? This is our absolutely unprofessional opinion, unmerited, full of bullshit opinions.
Not really. Like, there's still a couple where it's just like they could probably swap, but they're so sort of like even in keel for me that it doesn't really matter. Like I'm still kind of like on the fence about Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Nier Replicant, Returnal and Back for Blood. Really, those are the two spots where it's like, do they need to switch? Not really. It's kind of negligible at this point. Because like I said, SMT5 and Nier actually have a lot of very similar strengths in common. But 5 isn't a remake.
Met is like, can we throw in Yakuza and push everything 4 downward? Sorry, it's part of the rules.
Well, you see,
Yakuza at 3, I'll take it.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. See that comment right there where it says SWTOR is the best MMO? We have a real one in the chat.
Oh yeah, you guys can go get a room in SWTOR.
So good, so good. We can get a whole house in SWTOR, multiple of them, and we can give out keys so anyone can come and join.
Yeah, you get a penthouse. Got it. Anyways, let's. Okay, so
I mean,
so does this list?
I think for our first hypertension, there's actually not that much tension, but
the tension was literally between us in the chat.
No, we have very similar sensibilities when it comes to these particular 10 games.
I'm so glad that I nailed it and I put Monster Hunter Rise on 3, or else I felt like
I had no sensibility.
I was man, for looking at chat's reaction, I was like, man, they could have staked me through that shit. But
put it at 8 right now and see what happens.
Oh, why don't we just grab this right here?
Time to hydrate.
Okay.
Hey, Crane, can we fit in another game?
Depends on what the game is.
I mean, yeah, we got not UI. I mean, we could do Wheel of Voices.
Oh no, it's already past 8, bro. It's 8:30.
Yeah, Weekday Crane has a little bit of a tighter schedule.
No, we can't. I cannot do that. I am unfortunately
tight schedule, Crane.
I cannot do that. I'm so sorry, my dudes, but just can't do that. But yeah, how did you guys enjoy Hypertension?
You know, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, no, I was like, it's just a top 10. It can't be that fun. It was pretty fun, even though I knew none of the games because chat picks what we have to list. I think it's really fun.
No, I enjoy the implementation of chat. We just take the first 10 things that chat gives us, and we just got to live with it.
Yep. The next one, by the way, I'm telling you guys, we're gonna play this again on Friday, and I'm gonna tell you the topic right now. It's the top 10 hottest League characters, and then we'll put that in order. Doesn't matter what gender or race or whatever.
I thought it was our Arcane special where we list the top 10 Arcane characters.
No, just League characters.
Wait, the following Cranefreeze is our Arcane finale special.
Yeah,
and that one we'll do top 10.
Yeah,
we could do that. We can do that.
Oh yeah, because we're gonna have another 3 episodes this weekend. And,
yeah, that's why. I know that's why. So
back Friday.
So we're
to
moving.
Participate in Arcane Bingo.
Yep. Oh, it's bingo is super fun. Well, that sounds like a tough game for everyone except Tarek. I know, right? Everyone ships Tarek with everybody. All right. So, just because we did mention this on the top of it, we will do one song and then we will close out. So, guys, enjoy the dulcet sounds of Final.
Time waits for no one, but love takes a lifetime, and I've waited all for you to come to me. Time waits for no one, but love takes a lifetime, and I love. You know this world could be so cold without your smile to keep it warm, and to see your form again. 'Cause I've been waiting patiently just to see your smile. Remember what you said to me, that you come find me here. And I've been waiting patiently just to be in your arms. Remember what you promised me, so I'll wait here for you. And I just wanted to be alone without a care in the world, 'cause nothing hurts me, because I would rather die than having to go through my life longing. No touch, no voice, no laugh, no crying on my bed, because nobody knew. I thought nobody knew. Then there was you. I wanna love you, I wanna see you, and I just wanna let you know, and that I want you, and that I need you, and I just wanna let it show. 'Cause I've been waiting patiently just to see. I wanna see you. Remember what you said to me, that you come find me here. And I've been waiting patiently just to be in your arms. Remember what you promised me, so I'll wait here for you.
Time, wait for no one, but love takes a lifetime, and I've waited all for you to come to me. Time, wait for no one, but love takes a lifetime, and
I'll be waiting here.
I can't hear you.
That is definitely there, and we're definitely going to drop the Bart song this month. Most definitely. Most definitely. I promise
Well, I
you.
think you're muted to the stream, my friend.
No, I'm not muted anymore. But
Okay, good.
But yeah, again, guys, thank you for spending time with us this wonderful Wednesday night. I know for some of you it is Thursday morning, and that's why we said on the top of the show, it's all about, depends on your time zone. But thank you guys again. I know we didn't get to play a lot of games, but we definitely had fun. We tried Hypertension for the first time, and that's actually, it did in fact turn out more fun than I thought it would be. So we're definitely going to play that one more again. So on Friday, remember, we're going to have Cranefreeze. It's going to be probably one of the, it's going to be our last bingo for Arcane. So, yeah.
For now,
guys.
because I can't imagine this will be the last we ever see of Arcane.
That's pretty much it. So guys, thank you again. Thank you again to Luke Word and